Here we go again on a Thomas Merch adventure. Here we go again on a Thomas Merch adventure again.
Oh, the indignity! My reflection looks shocking. Oh, does this one have bits that come off? Look at that. Oh, that's just wrong. Calling Mr. Hammer. They're pretty tough. So that die wasn't working. Was that the problem? Not any longer.
Put it in your room and impress your girlfriend.
Bust my buffers.
Like a real naughty boy. Zip Thomas all. Maybe it will clear the drains here. Get this out nice and gently, hey? How much would you pay for that? Would you pay $5,000? What's wrong with seeing Diesel 10? Or Diesel? Percy there is horribly derailed. Boom! Chuggington. Probably like $10,000 a pack on an eBay. They're probably rare. It's very Thomasy. It looks super fantastical. Antiques road showish. I'm thinking a couple of light taps will reveal all. There's something that disturbs me about the graphics. That's all I want to do at the moment. It's probably the best use of a Thomas Wood.
Oh, we don't like it going on eBay, blah, 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 blah.
Okay, I'll just gently put those over there. Certainly the days when the good stuff was around, and it's unusual to see Diesel back when he's the devious, grumpy looking Diesel that we really always want to see. A one pop thing to... Crikey, this thing just attacked me. Fluffy, come on! There's stuff with rubber bands around it. It must have been a stacked deck. Thomas and Friends watches. I'm not going to spend too much time on these. What's Toby going to say? Box? Oh no, brown. Bringing back some memories. There you go. Trade secrets all given away. A reward chart, maybe that can be something that YouTube could put up for me, but I doubt it. They are just so different graphically to look at. A lot of these are peg sitters. There's one there. Toby's feeling all lonely. There's a happy cranky face and a cranky face. Okay, it's something that you sit on without a trigger word. I told you Fluffy would still like it.
Oh, we don't like the way he smashes up the ukulele.
Imagine walking down the street with that on your back. It certainly beats having a monkey on your back. That's what men do all the time. I should be a sales rep for Hunter Leisure. Maybe they can give me a call and give me a job. Lots of memories for a lot of my audience if they see that. Adults are watching this video. This is a stunning piece of Thomas and Friends merchandise. And he looks cranky as well. So we'll put this one nicely away. So if this split open, basically evacuate the house. Jigsaw puzzles. Do that and Thomas moves. Fried my brain putting this together. Is that bags of cash? Oh no, it's mail. If that's doing it for you, well, good luck to you. Nice and gently, won't we?
Oh, it's not a pull toy, blah, 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 blah.
Sometimes you got to be cruel to be kind. I think this is going to get it out for me. It's in like a parent-proof bubble because children have imaginations unlike adults. That sort of stuff is rarely ever seen. It's just, you know, a trip back in time and it's something you do not see today. I can see how much that book was loved. Why have I got a TIE fighter in my hand in this Thomas video? The toys were really detailed. When I think about this Thomas and Friends triangle, my crikeys, it needs some major repair. It evolved into, well, something very, very different. This next DVD is my son's favourite. It distracted from the beauty of the toy. I totally lost interest after this. Just be really careful buying it online. Every time we go back in time, we see the charming stuff. I can't find anything like this these days. Thomas is traversing through Teletubby land. I'm struggling to fold this. There's no law against making a profit. That's a bit of a strange read. I didn't know there was such a thing as left and right-handed chopsticks. Maybe I'll need those instructions back. That's definitely a classic. Let me just say this at this point of the video, before we get into the video. This is a very long, complex video. It took a long time to make. And unfortunately, this sort of video these days are just throwaway items on YouTube. It makes no economic sense making a video like this. I don't expect anyone to sit through and watch this in one giant hit. It is divided up into roughly 6 segments. I haven't stacked the good stuff up the end of the video as you often see on YouTube videos these days. The good stuff is sprinkled throughout the video, and possibly the talk about the Thomas Triangle, I should pull that out as a separate video. It's based on the business triangle idea. And when I talk about that, I'm not saying it's the Thomas and Friends gospel, but it's something that came to mind because I looked at so much of the Thomas and Friends merchandise over the mega merchandise videos, and over the years I've seen so much of the Thomas and Friends toys. To me, it feels like the Thomas Triangle is more like a pear shape. So yes, sadly a very complex video to make, and unfortunately these days on YouTube a total throwaway. Okay, this is the fourth of my Thomas & Friends Mega merchandise collection videos. To understand how I ended up with this collection of stuff, you need to go back to the first of the Mega collection videos. Now, usually at this part of the video, I recap what was seen on the previous episode, and I do this because the YouTube notification system is totally busted, okay? So often people will say in comments, oh, we want to take a look at that. And then I thought to myself, well, we've looked at that in the previous episode. Haven't those people seen that? Or don't they watch the videos? Or are they just there making comments to make noise? Which I think, sadly, a lot of that goes on. I've also had people complaining to me saying they didn't like the out of context part at the start of these videos. And what that is, it gives you a bit of a sneak peek at what's to come. It's there for a reason. It's funny what people will complain about, and I get lots of complaints like that. I don't quite fully understand. But what was most impressive, going back on the previous episode, was the Thomas & Friends Thomas and Percy Mega Sketcher. Okay, so luckily people saw that and they laid in comments, they explained to me what this is. They pointed me towards a video on YouTube. Whether or not I'll put it here is, I don't know yet, because it might trigger copyright or goodness knows what. But what is very scary is I went onto eBay to try to find one of these and I still can't find one, even though now I know exactly what that is. Completely awesome piece of toy/merchandise, and of course the Tomy company was behind it. How many times have we seen awesome from Tomy? I think in this episode, and it's going to be the last one I'm doing on the table here, I've got to clear the table. It's taken me a couple of months to get to this fourth episode. I'll try and pick off some of the really strange stuff, and there's lots of strange here. Okay, let's do it. Yes, it's amazing how much energy people put into complaining. Now, I did repair, again, the Thomas & Friends ukulele. It's an awesome piece of merchandise. It's nice and strong. I've proven that over a couple of videos now. People get very edgy when they see they're getting busted up. And what is really nice, I actually found Godzilla's head, so we can all sleep easy now. The first item we're going to take a look at is some Thomas & Friends Chopsticks. Okay, some left-handed, and it says Chopsticks there. I'm not sure what that says. I'm sure someone in my audience can decipher it for me. Just giving you a look at the packaging here. I actually thought, when I first saw this, I thought it was knockoff, but there's the price I paid. Crikeys. There's like a little holographic thing here. And then on the back of the packaging, it says that. Okay, I don't know what Edison Chopsticks really means. Oh, there it is there. We should read that. What is Edison Chopsticks? Question mark. Designed for people, especially for beginners who want to take food using Thomas & Friends chopsticks with pleasure. Fun, simple and easy. That's a bit of a strange read. And if I lift it up like this, you can have a look at what's said on the back here. It shows you how to hold these chopsticks, and then there's a picture there, happy meal time, fun, playing and exercising. Again, that's a bit strange, and we can go down here, and the copyright information there, it is tiny print. It actually says 2009. Now, seeing that there, it might be made for the Korean market. It could be something Japanese people may enjoy as well. I am going to get these chopsticks out because I'm super curious to see what's going on inside. A bit of a battle, but we'll get there, won't we? Okay, let's take a closer look. Well, these chopsticks are a bit different. The pickup area on them is larger, so it'd be easier to pick things up. And as I work up here, there's little areas for your fingers. I'm right-handed, so, well, my fingers are massive as well. This is for children. I didn't know there was such a thing as left and right-handed chopsticks. Maybe that's a bit of a joke. I really don't know. The Thomas on this, it's actually very nice looking. It's like a bit of a trip back in time in the way Thomas looks. And on the back here, dun dun dun, I can see a copyright information of 2007. Here's a closer look at the Thomas at the top of the chopsticks. That's what's looking at you while you're using these chopsticks. Nice and 3D. Yes, it's very nice. I'll try to give you a demo of how these work. Remember, I'm right-handed. And I'm not a kid. I like it. It's practical merchandise stuff that you can use. So when you are eating, look who's looking at you. That's right, good old Thomas. Okay, I'll put all this gently aside. Next thing we're going to take a look at is this Thomas & Friends stamp set. Okay, I won't spend too much time on this. It's pretty self-explanatory what's going on here. So a nice picture there. On the back there is a read there. If you want to pause the video, you can come along and read all that there. It's a big history lesson, I dare say. It's got copyright 2015 here, although I always think of it as 2014. I don't know why. And then the stamps are in here. Maybe you'll have something to say about what you see there versus what you really wanted to see. Now, what confuses me about these stamps, and I hope I'm correct here, well, there's a picture of Edward there. There's perforations all around Edward, but I don't think he's actually a stamp. I think all that really counts as a stamp is the one which is the balloons and streamers, and it says Australia 70 cents. And when I first looked at this in the post office, and I looked at it, well, I thought I looked at it properly, I thought the pictures were also stamps. I'm pretty sure it needs to have a currency value on the actual piece of paper for it to become a stamp. So, I'm a bit disappointed. No, it's not doing it for me. I just did some maths on this. There are 20 stamps inside here. So 20 times 70 cents, that's $14. Now, how much did I pay for this again? There it is down there. Oh, let's call it $16. I suppose it comes back to that saying, there's no law against making a profit. In years to come, that could be worth multiple thousands of dollars. I'll just gently put that aside. Just thinking of investments that you wouldn't want to touch. What about this one? 1993 Shining Time Wooden Thomas Train, White Face Troublesome Truck, New Era Box. How much would you pay for that? Would you pay $5,000? It goes back to that saying, a fool and his money are easily parted. Now, the next item we're going to take a look at, it's actually hidden up there behind Bluey. It's a Thomas Karaoke Toy. Like magic, I can make it appear right here. Okay, sing along karaoke. It looks very Thomasy, very cheerful. That's what the back of the packaging looks like, and it's actually licensed to 2015. I purchased this at Toys R Us. You can see how much there, basically $35. I can see there it says auto scan radio. That sounds pretty good. And a little bubble there says comes with a microphone. I had a bit of a habit, if I saw something Thomas unusual, and I think this classifies as that, I would grab it and buy it. And I'll just get this out, hopefully without cutting my fingers up. It's that sort of Sharpie plastic that isn't quite nice, and I do miss Toys R Us. Okay, I'll just get this out nice and gently, hey. There's a bit of a fight to get that one out. It actually looks very cool. That's the microphone, and there's a bit of lead here. There's also some instructions here. Okay, so if you're smart, you're going to read that, but if you're someone like me, guess what you're going to do? Because men don't read instructions, do they? Okay, I'll start playing with this. Maybe I'll need those instructions back. Yeah, I had to go backwards here a bit. I'm silly sometimes, aren't I? And if you read that properly, it actually explains all of the wonderful little features in this quite miraculous little Thomas & Friends radio. It also will plug in your MP3 player in the back here. It's got 3 AAA batteries. I would have preferred it to have AA's. Okay, it's got a thing here for the microphone to come out, and that's like a little microphone stand. I like that because if you want it to be just a clean looking Thomas look, you can get rid of that, or you can have your microphone stand out. And it's actually a very clever design. Let me set my camera up so I can show you more. Okay, I'm going to try and demonstrate some of the things on this without getting into copyright strife. It is going to be a little bit tricky. There's an on-off switch here. You can either have music or radio. I'm going to turn the radio on. This is where I get into trouble.
Defeating Northern Tigers.
Luckily, there's someone talking. You can change channel by touching the buffers here. Staticky music. Okay, don't want that. I'll go back to the talking. Okay, go back. Okay, back on the talking. You can use the microphone. I'll turn it on. You can actually talk along with the radio. Blah, 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 blah. I hope you can hear that nice and loud. Very loud, actually.
Proudly independent.
And you can switch it to just music, and I'll just turn it up nice and loud here, because you would possibly have your MP3 player on, and I'll just turn this back on, and it's quite loud.
Hello, this is a very loud broadcasting Thomas. It's quite nice.
I've had fun with this. As soon as I started playing with it, and the microphone's still on, I'll turn it off so it doesn't make its own noise. It has got a little handle here that pops out of the top of Thomas, so someone's given this a fair bit of thought. It looks great as well. I think that's the thing that I really like about this. It could almost stand up in my actual Thomas the Tank collection. How many times, as soon as you put that splash of water on Thomas, you get a nice looking Thomas.
I'm quite impressed with this Thomas and Friends sing-along karaoke toy. It looks fantastic. It plays the radio. It will play your MP3s. And best of all, you can put it in your room and impress your girlfriend. Bow wow 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 wow.
I quite like this. I could have played with it a lot longer. I'm going to very carefully put this one away. Maybe the one thing that I would have liked to have seen in this was some way to plug in mains power through something like that. If it had that and not the stupid AAA batteries, I really would have given this mega thumbs up. Yeah, normally I would show you prices on eBay, but I've had people complaining about that, so we're not going to go there. It did come with a cable for your MP3 player, although I suppose that's a bit of old tech now, looking at it like that. But it is nice to see something that gives you a bit of Thomas and Friends joy and also looks Thomas awesome. I'll just put the karaoke machine nice and gently there. That's nice. Next thing we're going to take a look at was something I should have taken a look at in the last episode, was when I was looking at foods. This is something, now I look more closely at this, it's something that you put into a drink. Here's a closer look. It's something I pick up in the Asian stores, Lottie, so I think that's Japanese. They feel like gummy sort of things inside. On the back, I can't read a stitch of that. Okay, and it's got licensing there for 2018. I also noticed we're well past the use by date. I'm shooting this in 2020, the virus year. I have got a glass of water here, so I'm going to open some of these up and throw it in there. There's something I've noticed that's a constant with Japanese stuff. They always seem to have the cool stuff. I think I need to go to Japan and find out what's going on there. Let's take a look here. Oh, cry. Oh, these are weird. They might have gone a bit strange because they are... Oh man, there's a really strong odor from this, like really sugary strong. Oh yeah. I thought to myself, imagine if you put one of these into your mouth. Maybe you could be the first person to go to the moon without using a rocket. Let me get these into the water. Before I throw them in, there's actually some different designs on these. There's like, it looks like a little Thomas face. This is going to be hard to keep in focus. There's a number 1 there. I hope I'm correct. This is another little face. I think there's only one face. I hope you can see that. Okay, attention to detail. I like that. And there's also... I believe that's a T. I hope I've got it round the right way. It's difficult to describe to you the smell that's coming from these. My hands from touching these stink of these. It's a really strong, sugary, almost chemical smell. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to chuck all these into the water. Like a real naughty boy. Don't do this at home because it... Yeah, like I said, you might be the first person to... Well, in fact, you might go to Mars powered by these things. I think they're meant to dissolve. I hope. Let's see what happens. I've got to compress some time here. There are times when things go wrong and don't happen. And also I'm lost in translation when I'm looking at these little whatever they are. I put them in water and they just sat there. They didn't do anything. They looked pretty sitting in water. And I thought, what do you do next? Well, of course, you grab Coca-Cola. So I grabbed some Coca-Cola and I put them in Coca-Cola, and guess what happened? Absolutely nothing. And that had me go back and study the packaging a little bit more, and we will pick up from there. I've just come back to the packaging here. Notice it shows a nice little blue drink there, but I can't read this, but I notice it's in red, so maybe I need hot water to make this work. Sort of getting into lost in translation zone. I have got some boiling water here. Now, I don't understand boiling water as, let's say, a children's drink. This may be a solution here. I'll just fill this up and we'll see what happens, eh? Crikey's the smell of this. Mind you, I don't think you've ever put 2 packets into the water. These are dissolving now. Okay, we've got action and I can start to see there's a colour change. But I tell you what, the smell is strong as. Yeah, look at that, they're almost all gone. They're melting away in that very, very hot water. Okay, remember I put in 2 packets. They are past their use by date. It's lost in translation. I can't read what's going on there. But the water gummies have dissolved in hot water. It's not the nice blue that I saw on the packet. And if I touch it, it's got a very strange, as apart from being hot, it's got a very strange sort of feel as well. A really strong aroma. Mind you, it is completely overdosed with water gummies. Maybe someone who comes from another country can explain how these work. I am going to have a bit of a taste of this just with my finger, and I'll report back. Oh, crikeys. Okay, it tastes as strange as it smells, and it really does smell strange, and I'll just pour this out. Very, very strange. Maybe it will clear the drains here. It's got that sort of smell to it. With the Thomas merch, there's the good, there's the bad, and, well, there's things like this. Okay, it was seen in every shop in every part of town. It's called the Press-O-Matic. It was seen in every style of franchise as well. Okay, so you can sort of see what's going on there. The copyright date on this is 2011. And I reckon if you went to the stores even today in 2020, you're still going to find things like this laying around in store. Now let me just gently, and very gently, get this out. Always gentle with the stuff that I really like. Okay, you can see what's going on here. There is a die. Hope I said it right, they're not dice. In the middle there, you press that to hopefully select another side. There's graphics here. And really all that defines this as Thomas & Friends is that, well, basically cardboard graphic underneath the plastic fantastic. None of this represents Thomas & Friends. They're your little things that you move along to play the game. Nah, I'm starting to feel very triggered about this. I've sort of noticed that I can't even get the die to jump. I've got something that'll make it jump. Sometimes you've got to be cruel to be kind. So that die wasn't working. Was that the problem? Not any longer. And look how tough that little ukulele is. Thomas Ukulele to the rescue again. And look, I've solved the problem about selecting a different side on the dice. It now works. I told you I was a problem solver. Now the game can be played. Even those guys thought that was funny. That was an extensive cleanup, but I actually feel better for it. The Thomas face has been repaired once again. I used super glue to come in and patch together Thomas's face, but the next thing we're going to talk about is something that you actually put on your face like that. So this is my Thomas & Friends bespoke custom-made face mask made from a pair of children's underwear that was seen in one of the previous episodes of this merchandise videos. It's fantastic. Lots of people have asked me, pulled me up on the street, where did you get this? And I've got to explain it's made from a pair of children's underwear. The tailor that made this for me, very nice people in my local shopping centre, they explained to me they needed 2 shapes like this. They had to unstitch the pair of underwear, okay? And one of this would be the front of the underwear and the other side would be the rear. And it's a bit like pop art or comic strip. Look, I like it, okay? The fact that it got huff and puff and, you know, things that make you look, I think that's good. And I think that's the secret to these, is something that looks a bit different, something that makes you look at something, okay? And it's clearly Thomas. A pair of underwear like this is from the same pack. You'd need 2 pairs to make a face mask, and I think that there, or that pattern there, is a bit big, okay? So if I put my face mask there like that, you need a piece of material that size to make just one part of it. Of course, the problem with this pair of underwear is the back of it's just blue. So the tailor, you know, when he made this, and even people in store who saw this, they liked it. And it had us thinking about what sort of patterns are good, and this is Massan's mouse pad. Okay, a pattern like this, if it was material in SpongeBob theme, would be fantastic. It's just sort of the small enough that would make quite an interesting looking face mask. Maybe something that's better would be, there's a cap of Massan's here, like a Mario theme. A pattern like that And what I found was tailors can come along and unstitch things and get more material out of something. Not that you're going to unstitch your lovely cap, but remember this was derived from basically a pair of children's underwear that was unstitched, and it wasn't a very large piece of material. It was only just enough to make that. Maybe something else I looked at, I think this is out of the gift pack that I looked at in a previous episode of the merchandise. A pattern like that would make an excellent face mask. So I started to really think about what patterns make great face masks. And of course I went to material shops. It made me look around at what was available. Of course I'm making this video near Halloween. Who knows when it's going to be uploaded, but I could see material and themes that would work and things that would look fantastic as face masks. Of course the people in these stores are always wearing funky custom bespoke face masks. And I also noticed in the shops too, there's some other options getting about, but it can get a bit costly. There's a bit of overpricing going on. How much did my Thomas bespoke custom made face mask cost me? It was $24, and I think it was the best 24 bucks I've ever spent in my life. Lots of people have asked me, pulled me up on the street and said, hey, where did you get that face mask? And unfortunately I've got to say, well, it came from a pair of children's underwear. A bit embarrassing, but hey, that's the truth. Next we're going to take a look at some Thomas & Friends water pistols, but I'm actually fairly suspicious about all this stuff. I'll just let you look at this water pistol. It's one that you can take that off there, fill it with water. You can pump it up here. Okay, I'm just going to flip around to the other side. You can see the stickers on it. I had to take photographs of the stickers. There is licensing info on this, but it's so micro and so blurred you can barely read it. I do believe it says 2011, but I'm highly suspicious. I've just brought it close to the camera so you can see it. There is like a made in China and company name there. Again, I've taken a photograph of that so you can see it more clearly. I'm still suspicious. I'm just letting you see where you do put the water in, you unscrew that. You can see how well this is made. Okay, there's a little bit of a pump thing there for the trigger, and I don't know, it's got a bit of a, I don't know, cheap feel to it. Maybe you had one of these, maybe you can tell me whether you think it's a legit item or a knockoff. And it's when I started to toy with this a bit and manipulate it, well then I thought to myself, no, I'm not really liking things like that. Bits of this are just coming off a little bit too easy. Maybe I'll put a bit of stress test over this to see exactly what's going on. Calling a very old friend who knows his stuff, Mr. Hammer. I'm thinking a couple of light taps will reveal all. Nah, I'm highly suspecting that's a knockoff. Well, to me it's broken apart way too easily. Looks far more funky now. Yeah. I might be wrong. I'm just really suspicious about seeing the stickers and the way you could barely read them. To me that was shouting knockoff. I'll take a look at this pair next and I can use them to clean the slate here. Okay, that's better. Okay, I've always been suspicious about this. I actually put a picture of this up on my YouTube channel, the feed or whatever it is, and people were totally undecided. They couldn't tell whether it was real or fake. Picked it up in a store that's packed with knockoff stuff, even though this has got licensing info down the bottom there. This can be so easily just stripped on, and look, I don't know. It's one of these things, if I really honestly knew, I would say it. But it's one of these things that so many people saw a picture of this and couldn't tell me if it was real or fake. Well, I can see made in China there. Okay, we've got stickers here. In fact, I can see licensing info on that. I'll take some pictures of that and I'll add them to this video and you can see the date. Looking like 2018, but I tell you what, it's rather small. And just coming along here, just seeing how these look. Okay, there were lots of these in store. They just sit around. No one's really purchasing this stuff. It just really does feel cheap and nasty. And what was it? I paid $6. Okay, so it's basically like $3 per water pistol. What is weird here, and well, it's not weird being Sticker Friday or crooked, but there is actually no licensing on this sticker at all. And that has me very suspicious. Remember, when I saw these, where I bought them, just the way they presented in packet had me thinking something's wrong. Can I get bits of this off quite easily? Look at that. Look at that. Now, how often you see children poking one of these sucking water. If you suck water out of this one, you're going to probably swallow that bit of plastic. Okay, let's take a look at the blue one here. Again, it's Sticker Friday. That's the side with no licensing on the sticker. I took photographs of all this as well. And this side here, sticker's crooked. And this is the side there is that licensing there. Okay, does this one have bits that come off? Look at that. Oh, that's just wrong. Okay, that's just wrong. And I mean, seeing that is probably telling me more about what's going on here than anything else. This is the biggest problem here. The fact that comes off, how much glue do they use? A little tiny dot. Okay, so it's Glue Friday. Whoever was gluing that learnt from the person who was applying the Sticker Friday stickers. As for the rest of it, I'm trying to twist it and split it, and I'm not getting it open, so that maybe is a good sign. But for the fact that just pops off, epic fail. What I should do is go down to the store that's still selling these and say, get them off the shelves before some child chokes on the bit that comes off of the front. Anyway, Mr. Hammer is just going to come in for a little bit of a tap. They're pretty tough. That one's gone on the floor. That one's dusted. There's a nice chalk and cheese shot. I think that one there's the nice cheese, and that one there's the horrible chalk. There's a blue water pistol that flung onto the floor. Now that little white piece stayed on, which is sort of funny but not funny. And there's the red one that flung over next to the radio. It looked very strange next to that. And I've got to say, look, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, well, it tends to be a duck. But I might be totally wrong here. These may be licensed products, but I tell you what, if they are, it's not a very good look, is it? The next item we're going to take a look at, it's a Thomas & Friends book. It's titled Good Night Little Engine, and it's a record a story book. There's a couple of curious things going on with the artwork of the book on the front cover. If you think about the sheds there, normally there's a turntable out in front. There's tracks pointing in all directions, and no turntable in sight. And looking very carefully at Percy here and the orientation of Percy versus the rails, I would say that Percy there is horribly derailed. He's off the rails. This book came to me via a new charity shop that was collecting stuff for me. Unfortunately, that didn't really turn out very successful. There's the artwork on the back. It's making me feel tired looking at that picture there. I also suspect this book has come in from overseas, and I say that because of that label right there. I've had a play with this book. It is actually quite clever. The licensing info is in on the first page here, and it's licensed to 2011. Just remember that date. It's the first time I've come across a book like this. Okay, so you can turn this page here, and you can put here for whoever, with love from, which is I think a very nice thing. And over here is quite detailed instructions on how to set up this book so you can record your own voice in telling a story. We won't be doing that in this video, but the first thing I have to do is get some batteries into here. This book uses a series of holes through the pages so it knows what page to read. As soon as I put batteries in, it's going to want to talk, so I'll just cover this up so it thinks it's closed. This recorder storybook takes AAA batteries. I'm not really a fan of them, but at least it doesn't use those dreaded button batteries that I dislike even more. It's got a lock and unlock button here. If you do record a story, you can lock it up, and below that is like a volume higher and lower, but there's not much difference between those. Above the battery area is a speaker. Below the battery area is a record button and stop button if you were to record a story into this book, but we won't be doing that in this video. I'll just get the battery cover back on here, and there is a little screw there to make it nice and safe, and I get a nice screw shot as well. So as soon as I remove the blue tack here, it's going to start talking to me. Told you.
Let's listen to a story about a really useful engine.
So from this point on, every time I turn a page, it will start reading the story to me because it reveals another hole in the page. Okay, I've got a third hole there. Nice little picture there. Fat controller waving to Thomas. Harold's up in the sky.
It was the end of a wonderful day.
And we can start to read.
Thomas worked hard, and Sir Topham Hatt was very proud of him.
I can't let the whole thing read out, but what I wanted to illustrate to you is how this book works, the technology behind it. Those perforations there is what tells the book to read another story. And if we turn the next page, we'll reveal another hole. And we'll get some more reading going on. Bit of a musical score first. There's Bulstrode there looking fine.
Back to Tidmouth Sheds,
And it's time to read that there.
say goodnight to his friends. Down at the docks, Cranky and Bulstrode were finishing their work.
I like this on a couple of different levels. I like for the fact there's Cranky there. Back when he used to look cranky, there are a couple of characters in here which I'll call bygone, forgotten characters. It does read American sounding as the native book, but remember you can come in and record your own voice in this. Every time you turn a page, it kicks off to the next lot of noise in a sense, and if we get right up the end, there's like a bit of a, the sheds a good night Thomas sort of feel. It's making me drowsy just thinking about that. But I'll get back to this front page so it's not noisy. But 2011 copyright, what came 1 year before something like this? Do you remember what it was? And it's something that would potentially kill this sort of tech. It was called the Apple iPad. Yes, things really changed once the iPad got into Mummy's hands, and even worse, into the children's. Also, back in 2011, you know what else is around? Boom! Chuggington. I've always thought the advent of Chuggington made Thomas and Friends have a very good hard look at themselves, and in a sense, in a couple of years' time, after the copyright of this book, Thomas and Friends made the dramatic CGI change to their series. Now, what's unusual about this book, and many of the Thomas and Friends books, I have taken the batteries out so it's not going to make noises at me, is the graphics in here are almost like a bygone era of Thomas and Friends. It's always like the publications don't seem to marry up with the TV series. And I can tell you what, I've got a lot of Thomas and Friends books in the collection, and they always seem to be in a totally different time frame versus the TV series. Now I've got that feeling of copyright strike incoming. Thomas and Friends Nappy Wipes. Do you believe me? Do you think these are real and legit? Okay, well let's take a look underneath here. Well, that's what it looks like under the packaging. It says 2010 Ghislaine Thomas blah blah. These are a strange one. These are all through, I'll call them the $2 shops in some places in Sydney. Initially when I saw these, I thought, oh, these can't be for real. Of course, they're around a couple of years back now. I've never seen them again. So let's take a look at one packet and we'll break into this and see what's going on. Okay, yeah, there was really a time when Thomas and Friends did everything. I think this is a great example of it. Let me work out how to open this one up. Okay, it says pull here. I shouldn't open these. They're probably like $10,000 a packet on eBay. They're probably rare, blah, 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 as things are on eBay. Ooh, yeah. Nappy wipes are the greatest thing ever invented. If you've ever had children or had no water in your house, these become essential. Ooh, okay, they're still nice and moist. I'm just going to pull one out and I'm going to give it a bit of a sniff. That's sort of weird. There's no smell. Oh, hang on, they're unscented nappy wipes. Yeah, so these are probably nice if you've got sensitive noses and sensitive whatever else. It's a nice size as well. What you find over the years is these sorts of things get smaller and smaller. I was going to repack it back in here, but that wouldn't be very wise. What I will do is I'll just come along and I'll just seal it back up again. And hopefully we'll keep the rest of the ones in there nice and moist. There you go. No one would even know I've been into that. I can repackage this underneath because I was sneaky. I opened it from underneath. I could seal that back up. Go and put it back up on eBay and say, look, Thomas and Friends, rare, unscented, and highly desirable nappy wipes. What do you reckon? 300 bucks? Don't do naughty stuff on eBay. That was just a joke. It's actually a form of fraud if you're doing that sort of activity. I will gently put those over there somewhere. Whoops, they did a nasty roll. Next thing we're going to take a look at is some Thomas and Friends. Well, I call them Band-Aids. I like these styles of merchandise. I like for the fact it's a nice metal tin. Thomas plasters, 20 sterile adhesive strips. If you know your Thomas and Friends era, Thomas always looked a bit silly and kooky like that in a certain era. Maybe you'll understand the year this is from. It says Thomas and Friends on the top and the bottom. On the back here, you'll see how much I paid for this. It's from the ABC shop. They are now defunct and have been gone for a couple of years. The licensing on this is 2010. It's a piece of merchandise you'll probably enjoy more so for the container versus the adhesive strips. I nearly said Band-Aid then. Band-Aid's a brand. I had a teacher at school who was always correcting us, like when we said Hoover, oh no, it's a vacuum cleaner, or if you said Kleenex, oh no, they're tissues. Okay, so I nearly said Band-Aid again. They're adhesive strips or whatever, blah blah blah, plasters are all in here. I think they might all be attached actually to each other. And yeah, it's like something like that. Actually, I'm curious. I might get one out and see what it looks like. Now, before I go silly here, it does say in 4 different designs, okay? And then what I've noticed here is they're actually in strips of 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's one design there. There's another design there. And you can see the designs through the packaging, and there's another design going on there. The design I'm going to try to get is actually this one here. And I believe that this is it. And we'll just open this up, take a snazzy look. Oh man, it's bright and colourful. It's very Thomasy. It looks super fantastical. Look at that. Yeah, so why aren't I finding these in the stores anymore? I'll find everything else, Mickey Mouse and cars and Dora the Damn Explorer, but not Thomas and Friends anymore. The Thomas merch seems to have gone south. That is actually very, very spiffy. I'm going to put that on my little finger. Before I put it on, look at that there. It's got licensing info there, 2010 Ghislaine, blah, blah. Okay, I'm putting it on my little finger there, and it comes back to practical merchandise. I like practical merchandise. It's fantastic. It's a nice sticky Band-Aid as well. It feels good. I'm feeling very Thomasy there on my little finger. You'll often hear people say, well, how much joy does something give you in a collection? I'm not that big a fan of Thomas & Friends merch. There's some sketchy stuff, a lot of sketchy stuff, but I like things like this. It's practical. You'll probably find that a lot of people would have used these, and you may find it's going to become fairly scarce, and it defines a certain Thomas & Friends era, especially because of the graphic there. I'm actually giving that one the big thumbs up. This piece of merchandise has only just been handed to me via a friend in the suburb who knows I collected Thomas & Friends merch. It's in a very, very nice box, and I thought it was a joke when I first heard about a double-handled mug. Okay, on the back here, and get it around the right way, it's a copyright 2014 item. If you want to pause the video and maybe read that, you can, but I'm not going to read it this time around. I want to get through this video, and if I get this around the right way, it's going to help us as well. And it's very nicely presented. The box is lovely, and when you take a look at what's inside here, and it's one of these things, it's almost like a keepsake type thing. Okay, it has got 2 handles, and I've got to be a bit careful here. It is porcelain. It's got a bit of graphic in there, a windmill. Okay, on the other side it's got a bridge there, a signal, some looks like little houses, and then this is the graphic on the double-handled mug. I suppose it's what children learn when they're learning to drink and stuff. You got to use 2 hands. And there's a lovely graphic there of Thomas and Percy. It's actually quite nice, sounding very Antiques Road show-ish. And there's a close-up of the other side. It's nice. It's very nice. Maybe what's nicest about this item is it's not showing any Sodor Island drift, as I call it. That is, things that look like not based on Sodor Island. It's fantastic. I did laugh when I first heard about it, but no, there is such a thing as a Thomas & Friends double-handled mug. The next item we're going to take a look at are these bad boys, but we better take a look at Fluffy, or else people say, "Oh, this is so fluffy." Oh, there she is. From that silly voice, I've just woken her up. She's in what we call a spaceship. She loves this thing. Yeah, she's always at my feet here, doing what cats do best, and that's doing absolutely nothing. And I dare say she's saying, leave me alone, let me go back to sleep, because that's all I want to do at the moment. Okay, Fluff, I'll let you go. I better put a little home back in as well, or she'll get upset. There you go. She loves that thing, completely loves it. Okay, what I've got here is not 1 but 2 of the Thomas & Friends coat, rack, hanger, and I'll call it shelf items. Now, these were coming through hard and fast through the charity shop. I've kept 2 of the better examples. A lot of them were fairly scrappy, but there's something that disturbs me about the graphics going on there. Now, look very carefully. Maybe you won't notice it through camera/YouTube. But when I looked at these, I thought there was something just a little bit askew. They don't say something like, well, Henry's missing. I know that's what you're going to say. Maybe look at the graphics and look at the way things are lined up, or should I say not lined up. They have got copyright info on the back. That one there's a 2005. Okay, that one there's a 2006. If I come in on that while it's been blown over by the wind, you can see that's 2006 and the other one was 2005. Great timing, wasn't it, that wind blast? Well, they have fallen over, and you look at the back here, they do look well made. These are holding in the coat racks. Okay, children's furniture has to be made correctly and safely. Just ask the company IKEA. That there is to hang it on the wall or the back of your door. I think I'll be putting these on the wall. This one here's got a few extra holes going on here. Okay, so in the end, when you're looking at stuff like this, it really comes down to condition, and condition. This item doesn't sit well on the table. Let me just prop it up using a Thomas wood there. It's probably the best use of a Thomas wood. Okay, now it's nice and stable. This era of merchandise was a time when you would have been playing with your wondrous Thomas and Friends take-along toys. And on the little shelf you may have added other Thomas and Friends toys, things that you really enjoyed looking at. And maybe you were lucky and you had a sibling in the family who had some really nice classic Thomas and Friends toys. But maybe you were quite smart and you thought to yourself, well, we can utilise this space in a far nicer way. Maybe you came along with a little bit of Thomas and Friends wooden railway track and really set up something that was impressive to look at. But from all your creative changes, were you ever able to fix the underlying issue that's going on with this merchandise? Are you still a bit confused and trying to work out what I'm talking about? Maybe just take a look at the cloud, the Thomas and Friends cloud there. Then chuff down to Thomas's funnel. Do you notice something a bit strange? Maybe it's a problem that you're not seeing. Maybe you're not annoyed by it. I tell you what, I was annoyed when I first saw this, and it took me a little while to understand what was going wrong there. And what I will do is I'll swap this one out. I have got the other one marked up to show you the little error. I'll save Thomas Wood, I don't know why, and I'll just put this one over the side nice and gently. Oops, it's on the floor. I've got the Thomas Wood in a strategic balancing act there, and this is the 2005 one. It's actually in a little bit worse condition versus the 2006. It has had some liquid there that's affected the shelf. And on this one here, I have marked it up to show you what's going on and what disturbed me. It's a strange one. It's the same error across both. Okay, I measured the distance across here, and that was 48 centimeters. Sorry, I can't speak Imperial. That gave me a middle mark here. Okay, so that's 24, and if I followed the 24 up, it actually went up and dissected the Thomas and Friends cloud in half. The cloud's actually in the right spot. It's actually like an optical illusion, because if you look here, it looks like the cloud has been printed off to the side. The cloud is in the correct spot. It's in the middle. And that had me looking more carefully at these graphics here. And if I came up here and I measured between the edge of the graphic here and the edge of the item, it was 3.75 there. And if I come up the other end here on the Percy side, I did the same, and it's 4.5. And to see how much error is going on, we'll come in closer onto the Thomas face there and you'll see it clearly. This line here is the 24 centimeter line, dissects the Thomas cloud perfectly in half. Now, Thomas's midway would be in the middle of his funnel, going down through his face, through his nose, down to his lamppost there. Now, all the engine graphics have been pushed over that way, and it's not by much, it's only by about the thickness of a pencil, and that disturbs me. Well, there is that saying, and it's a good one: measure twice and cut once, and maybe a tiny bit of quality control, and an error like this wouldn't occur. It is the same error across the 2005 and 2006 item. For the fact that the cloud's in the right spot, then had me wondering, is the cloud and the engines printed on the same template? Or was it a different template that's always been put in the wrong spot here every time? Now, where it's really visible, if I use the pencil here and my finger is a depth gauge there, okay, see that there, remember that? My fingers will, and if I come over here you can see just how dramatically different the gap there is. Maybe you're thinking, I don't like this item. I do like it. I don't like the fact it's got that error, and the error seems to be across all of them. I thought I'll go onto eBay and I'll be able to see pictures of these and I know where to look to see the error. But what I found on eBay, whoa, it's something totally awesome, and I didn't know about this item. It's called Thomas & Friends Wooden Railway Coat Rack / Hanger Clickety-Clack Shelf. It's a learning curve item. It's from 2001. It features 3D faces of Thomas, Henry and James. It looks awesome. It's got a piece of track on there as well. Now, some of them have got clickety-clack track and some seem not to have. Whether or not that's been fiddled with, or maybe that's something that happened over different years, I'm sure you're going to tell me. But man, when I saw this item, I thought that's what I want. It makes the one I've just showed you look like second fiddle, if you know what I mean. Now, when it comes to price on these, that clickety-clack hanger, it's condition, okay? If it's looking knocked around, paint chipped, water affected, and, you know, wear and tear, it's going to pull the price right back. If it's in really good nick and it looks like it's been stowed away and not played with, you know, you could be punching up well past $50 US, but watch out for the postage. The postage on this stuff can be very high. It's a very impressive item, and I'm glad I went onto eBay to look at this. And I know that people are saying, oh, we don't like you going on eBay, blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm sorry, but this time I had to, because that older rack is where it's at. So you're probably thinking, how much is something like this worth? Well, in the charity shop, something like this may have had, let's say, $1 on it, or maybe $2. It would sit there and not move. That's how I ended up with all the stuff from the charity shop, because the Thomas merch wasn't that popular. Now, this one has got a few little marks on Percy. Okay, you can see the shelf is what I call, you know, marked up. It's had Thomas Love. It's also got that marking there that I showed before. But, I don't know, if you're paying, let's say, more than $10, if you're, let's say, paying $25, I think then you start paying too much. What scared me was I couldn't see any of these on eBay. I did rescue that one off the ground, and this one is in far nicer condition. Now, what you got to look out for is also if these are bent or if they've been damaged, because I noticed on the photographs of the earlier version there were lots of photos of cracked paint around here, but this one here is in pretty good nick. The graphics on there, even though they're in the wrong spot, nice and clear and crisp, and it's bright. But this one had the problem of someone's come along and put some extra holes in there, which is going to play into the whole ideal of, well, in what condition is that in? Yeah, $20. That's how much I'd pay. And let me have another say about condition. You really have to be disciplined in understanding what makes something worth something. If someone has come along and repainted the shelf here, that's affected the price and it's pulled the price down. If someone's come along and decided to swap these pegs out, again, that's affected the price. If someone's put holes in the back of this thing and altered it in any way, that has pulled the price down. I really want to enforce this, because unfortunately emotions get on top of people and they start paying silly money for stuff, and you've really got to look out for the stuff that's been looked after and not thrown about. Okay, I'll just gently put those over there. Always look after your Thomas & Friends merchandise. It might be a better investment than gold one day. The next item I'm going to take a look at resides over this section of the table. In fact, it's just reminded me there's a piece of furniture here that I'm going to have to dig out from all the stuff. We'll take a look at that soon, but the item I'm very curious about is this one here, and it's got a bit of a story attached to it. Do you have one of these? Do you know what it is by looking at it on that side? Maybe if I flick it over, it starts to tell you a little bit more. Quite a curious item. I've just popped inside and I'm going to plug this item into a PowerPoint and turn it on. It's a Thomas & Friends night light. It's very unusual, and if I try to pull it out, what tends to happen is the night light gets left behind, and as you can see, the light's not very bright at all. I'm back outside again. It's a very nice looking item. It's the very old style Thomas in a sense by the face. Look at the details on this as well. Nice white running board there. It's nice, even with little flanges on the wheels, on the bit of the wheel that you can see. And when I first saw this, and where I found it was the Brick Pit Train Show, so it was like a trading table area there, and it was in there. It was $10. I remember how much I paid for this, and I picked it up, and I remember looking carefully at it, and when I picked it up, it was actually covered in dust and stuff, and some of the dust is still on this because it's actually got a sticky feel. And I thought to myself, this might be something that's been homemade and whatnot, and even that piece did come out then. And I thought to myself, well, what is this thing? Is this a legit sort of thing, or some fan made this? And down in this area here, there was stacks and stacks of dirt and dust, and it wasn't until I cleaned it out and I had to take some photographs of in there, and it starts to reveal the licensing info of this, and it's a 1992 item, and I had to take those photos with my iPhone. And if I tried to get video of down inside there where the information is, the printing is tiny. It doesn't help when it's covered in muck as well. It's near impossible to see. I suppose if you were small and a Thomas fan, you had this illuminating the corner of your room at night, you'd be, well, in Thomas and Friends heaven. And I like this because it falls into the category of functional merchandise. Certainly the days when the good stuff was around, and I think that is a great example of that. Let me just put that back where it belongs, over there, and let me derail onto something totally different. Let's have a bit of a squizzy at this. It's called a classic Hideaway. Now, what is interesting here is you've got a bit of an older style going on there, but the Hideaway's got that style there, and we sort of know what that style is because I've been teaching you about that, especially when you see Thomas looking like that. So you can already almost pick the date of this. The licensing on this is 2010. This product's also got a warning about how it pops open, and maybe children shouldn't be near this when you're setting it up and playing with it. And on a closer reading there, that says that this item is not fireproof. I can see there's 4 steps to setting this up, and over here it tells me there are 6 steps to folding it away. Maybe I've got a 1-step way of putting this away. Okay, I'll get this out of here and we'll have a bit of a play with this, set it up and do an experiment. You know what it's reminding me of? The same material, that mini driver that my son had years back now. That was a horrible thing too. Okay, now it says it's like a one pop thing. Crikey, this thing just attacked me. Wow, it does pop up in a flash. Oh, okay. Mrs. Inquisitive has just popped over. Typical cat, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. Mrs. Inquisitive is actually going to possibly get inside this. Hey, Fluffy, I've got to do an experiment. What is it about cats? As soon as there's something new, they jump straight on it. And she's going to get inside it. Fluffy, this is not your new toy, although it's looking like it is. In fact, the whole thing's actually erected, but I can't upright it because Fluffy's up the top of it. It's laying on its side. Fluffy, come here. Psst, psst. Come on. Oh, crikey, Charlie's. She loves this thing. I tell you what, we'll get one of these for your cats, okay? Now she's going to go out the door there. Come on, Fluff. Crikey, it's actually a little bit bigger than I thought. Come on, Fluff, out of there. Now she's sitting down again. Come on, out. She's not going to move. She's stubborn, I tell you. Oh, she's going back inside. I'm just trying to get this thing up. She's not going to move. Look at that. Fluffy, come on. Now she thinks this is a bit of a game, I think. Look, I'll let her have her fun here and I'll come back to this. I don't want to stop the cat from having fun. So there you go. It's the perfect little cat home. Okay? She loves it in there. Totally loves it. Come on. You better come out. Come on. Come on. I might have to keep this for the fact she likes it so much. Come on. Hey. It's a big game for her, this thing. She's not going to leave it. Fluffy, come on. I wanted to incinerate this, but I don't want to take this new toy away from her. I think she just sees this as the best thing she's had for a long time. This is a little bit later, and I believe Fluffy's asleep in there now. They're crazy cats, totally crazy. She's definitely in there. Okay, she loves this thing. She's not going to get out. I'll let her have fun. Oh, she just got out. Have you finished, Fluff? Good, okay. I can get back to my secret plans with this. Let me set this up like that, yeah. I've just got it upright. We'll take a look at the graphics on this side. It's your classic sort of 2009/2010 look of Thomas of that era. And if I come around to this side here, it's more of a front-on look of what's going on there. The other two sides are blank. There is a window or something on the other side, and I've got a funny feeling Mrs. Pesky has got back inside here. She completely loves this thing. There you go. Fluffy. I'm going to have to leave it with her, and what I will do is I'll come back and I'll deal with this later. Okay, we will get into that piece of furniture that's over here. A lot of stuff here is covered in dust and muck because it's been out for a while. I'll just have to gently get this out. And there's a lot of stuff in this as well. This came via the charity shop. I'm going to have to do a bit of a clean up first, and I'll just gently get it over here. Okay, this is actually quite a nice item. Now, going by the top pattern there, I would assume it's for playing games. It may have been called like a Thomas and Friends game table. I really don't know. I'm just making that up. You can see the graphics on each side here. That's the actual drawer side. And no matter which way you look at this, and this is what I like about this item, it actually looks pretty snazzy. Okay, even the back there is detailed, which is fairly rare to see. It's in fairly good condition. Okay, and when I first had a glance at this, I was struggling to find the licensing info, but it's actually right here. Let's take a look. There it is there, 2007 Ghislaine Thomas blah blah. The graphics on the game area are quite nice. It's a time when they were saying busy, super busy, and it's just prior to the goofy Thomas artwork of 2009. I often discuss condition of things, and you can see the paint starting to get a bit tatty on this if you look closely. The materials that this is made of, look, it's not good timber. It's, you know, stuff that's the cheap furniture of today sort of materials. MDF, I dare say, is what this top part's made of. It's the sort of stuff that if it gets a bit of water, it's history. And I really think the graphics on the drawer look super nice. It's a very eye-catching piece of merchandise. I like it for that fact. And let me get rid of the turntable because I've spun it around so you can see it. I'll gently put that over there somewhere. Oops, that didn't sound too crash hot, did it? And let's take a look at all the stuff which is in the drawer here. Okay. I dare say what's in here, well, basically relates to that there. Crikeys, there's a real mixed bag of stuff here. There's a Kaleidoscope here, and I've already looked at that. It's a 2006 item. That's very unusual. I don't think I could really show that and what it can do. I don't know whether this is all connected to the tabletop or not. There's stuff with rubber bands around it. Ratty rubber bands because it's obviously been around for a while. What's this here? It's a balloon. I dare say, yeah, latex regular balloon. Okay, looks like something you pump up with helium. There's that there. That's weird. I don't think that's associated with it. I'm not even sure whether that's a licensed item or not. It's not jumping out at me. Maybe I don't want to spend too much time on that. Lots more cards here. Lots of cards, okay? And what's nice here is I like seeing this, okay? Stuff has been played with, okay? There's signs of love. If we're not seeing any signs of love, well, I actually get a little bit cranky. There's more cards here. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure whether this is all connected to this item here. Actually, it says birthday surprise card game. The audience are going to answer it for me, I tell you. I can only guess. Okay, there are more cards here. It seems to be an endless number of cards, and then we're getting down to the bottom layers here. There's that there, which I don't know whether that's talking to me or not. There's a row card there. Looks like Thomas and Friends Dominoes. Okay, another rogue thing there. Actually, just push it all up to that corner there. Even these dominoes, I'm not exactly sure whether they're part of it. In fact, I think there's a licensing bit there. Let's read that. The licensing's on the edge there. I had to take a photo of it to see it. It actually says 2005. The more of these dominoes I look at, they're actually being played with a lot. They're not in good condition. Also, these here, they called drafts. There's bits of labelling missing. Yeah, that's a good look because it has been played with. Let me get those out. That was a nice sound, wasn't it? And then there's like a snake and ladders game, or would it be tracks and derailments game on the base there. I'll just clean this up. It was very grimy in the bottom of this, and we'll see that nice game a bit clearer. There you go, you can see it nice and clearly now, and down the bottom there it does say 2007, Ghislaine Thomas, blah blah. Considering that says 2007 there, and also the top of the table said 2007, I'm seeing all sorts of mixed dates from the stuff inside. That's 2004, the set of cards. The dominoes are 2005, and I've got iPhone pictures that show it much better than this camera. These little pieces here, they are lining up with the table. They are 2007. They're fairly knocked around. I've got photos of those as well. This set of cards here, they're 2004. And this set of cards here, quite interesting there, 1991. These are interesting for a number of reasons. And if you look at the other side, it's when the Thomas packaging had blue on it. It was initially red, then it went to blue. Let's just take a look at some of these cards a little bit closer. Okay, these cards here, 2004, it says Crown, that's a gaming company. They're in so-so condition. I wouldn't say they're in, fantastically new condition. These are just some of the characters that you can see going on there. It's funny, the graphics here does remind me of the item that we just taken a look at, the set of drawers. It seems like there's different games in here as well. Maybe it's just a mixed bag. Yeah, okay. Railway staff, there you go, it's probably rare. I could put that up on eBay and say, oh, it's so rare. There you go, it's so rare, I found another one. Okay, got an idea for that card there. There was a smaller set of cards here. These really feel like they've been played with. They've had a fair bit of Thomas love. There's nothing wrong with that. It says Crown on the bottom corner there. They really have had a bit of a ragtag time. In fact, there's one there the wrong way around. I meant to sort those out before I showed them. And graphically, these also do look like that draw set gaming thing. Someone's going to say, oh, it's called the Thomas and Friends gaming table, Leo, don't you know? That's funny. It's almost like this is a miniature version of the ones that we just saw, isn't it? Okay, I'm just letting you see the graphics on here. It looks like it also plays multiple games for the fact we've got this going on down here. I'm sort of thinking of, there we go, more rare railway stuff. They are, it's very similar, but it's a smaller scale. Okay, so if I get them side by side, you sort of get a rough idea. And then I think the last set of cards here, hope I can get by without stuffing up and saying the wrong thing here. This is a very interesting set. Now, in another video, I spoke about that era where Thomas and Friends stuff didn't quite know where it was going. Now, there's a reflection shot of Thomas here. I think these are snap cards, other than I'm just guessing here. There's the copyright there, 1991, so we're going right back into early times. Now, what is very interesting in this one is that when you have another character that's not Thomas, there's no copyright. Remember we looked on the other side before? It looks like that. Okay, there's no copyright on that. There's Harold there, and also Harold in reflection. These are actually nice to look at. Okay, here's Thomas again, and guess what, down the bottom here, there you go. The copyright information is there. So it's quite curious. Harold again, no copyright. Thomas there, copyright information there on the reflection side. James, I can't see any copyright there, can you? Quite unusual. Okay, Gordon, no copyright there. Henry, I'm just trying to I'm trying to prove a point here, and also we like to look at these cards because they do look nice, and we are going back in time. I'm just going to try and get to another Thomas here for you. Gordon, yeah, bring back the good old days, hey? Harold, come on, where's Thomas? Another Harold? Oh, it's playing games on me. Okay, yeah, I'm going to drop these soon. I'm going to lose patience, and I'm going to snap. Terrence, where's Thomas? It must have been a stacked deck. If you're at the casino playing with these, you would have been thrown out the door. Oh, phew. Thomas, okay. Once again, Thomas here in the reflection. There is the copyright information. I find that quite interesting because I'm always looking for where it's marked and licensed. I think that's really important, and for the fact there are cards here that have got nothing, and there's nothing on the other side. Okay, I'm showing you everything here. I'm not playing games. I find that really, really interesting. We'll finish on wonderful picture of Gordon there. Oh, the indignity! My reflection looks shocking. I will come down and check out and see if Fluffy's still in the Thomas and Friends classic hideaway. What do you think? Do you think this is now Fluffy's? Yep. She's extremely comfortable in here. In fact, I've just disturbed her. I've probably just woken her up. Well, better leave her in there, hey? I'd hate to disturb the peace. I better show these. You'll say, oh, but you never showed us the birthday surprise cards. Now, these are sort of interesting. Okay, they're in fairly good condition. There's not much Thomas love going on here, which does worry me. Okay, there is a set of instructions here, and if I flip that over, you get more instructions. Okay, there's part 3 of the instructions, and if I flip this one over, then we get to some licensing info of 2007, which is strangely the same date as the wonderful set of drawers. Maybe noticing it wasn't something done by Crown like the other cards were. Now, that's what this side of the card face looks like. But it's sort of when you turn it over, and I have got this one round the wrong way, it's meant to go like that, then you start to see the types of cards that are in this set. And I'll just quickly go through this because there's some nice graphics going on here. Maybe you've played this game. It does to me look complicated because there's so many different cards here. And it's funny, it made me look further and further into this. I'm not going to read the instructions, but that's a nice rendition of Diesel. And it's unusual to see Diesel in a game. That's nice. Okay, I'm a Diesel collector, so I like that. Oh, Toby, so maybe it's starting to get a feel for the era of this, hey? Yeah. Okay, a lot of these cards that have that. Another, like, birthday surprise, maybe that's the game. I've just given it away. Okay, that, yeah. But when you do come across a character, it looks stunning. That's sort of like the magic of these cards, and that's why I'm showing it to you. Okay, wow. That is unusual, isn't it? Yeah, what was that? It's a rogue Pokemon card. Is that a special one? Do you know your Pokemons? It feels like a real one. It feels... Or is it? It's very hard to tell the real from the fake with Pokemon. We'll get rid of that. Don't want to know about it. Okay, yeah. Maybe the problem here is I'm not seeing enough characters. If I was seeing more characters in this, I might... Oh, man, that's a great look of Troublesome Trucks. Fantastic. Okay, yeah, maybe we needed to see more characters. Wow, Duke. Wow. Yeah, that's why I'm showing... Oh, there you go, Duck. Okay, this is why I'm showing you this. Gordon, okay, yeah. Now, too many of these other things, I think we needed more characters. Maybe it's nice to see. And we'll finish on Troublesome Trucks. Just let me step back to one of my favourite cards in that pack, and it's Diesel. Now, look at this. It's back when he's the devious, grumpy-looking Diesel that we really always want to see. That's what we're missing these days. I'm just going back to the head card. It's the Thomas and Friends Birthday Surprise card game. And it's got some quite, I'll call it exotic characters that you just don't see playing these days. 2007 copyright info. And maybe you'll see one of these on eBay going for 20 cents and you'll say, oh, I know why I'm going to get that, because it's got stuff in there that you rarely see. Special stuff that you just don't see today. Sometimes something at a glance doesn't look too special, but then sometimes when you take a bit of a deep dive into something, you might find something that's going to impress, and I think possibly that little card game there falls into that category. It's one thing to look at the pretty pictures, but we'll just very quickly look at how this is made. It's fairly rough nut. I'm pretty sure that's MDF, which is basically a sawdust in a matrix of glue and squashed together. It's not very nice material. One bit of water and it tends to go crazy and puff up and it's useless. And this is the underneath of what is the main game area, and just looking at the joints here, I can see a triangular piece of material there. There is a screw going through that piece there. The overspray you can see there, and then looking at this section here, this is where the jaw would come in to the front of this. That's been screwed in there, and then there's another triangular piece there, another screw going into the top. There wouldn't be much strength going through here. It wouldn't take much to bust that up. It is what it is. It's a fairly rugged construction. you get a real feel for how rough nut it is when you start to put it back together. It's a rough unit. I'm just getting my little Thomas & Friends gaming table back together. It's actually a rather nice item. I'm actually very impressed with that. Now, how much would you pay for something like that today? Okay, Fluffy's now out of that Thomas & Friends hideaway. Time to play. The packaging said this item's not fireproof. Let's give it a little lick of fire. Give me a break. Come on, Fluffy, out of there. She's gone back in. Come on, get out. Go on. Psst, psst. Come on, I've got to do an experiment here. Come on, get out. Psst. Go on. Psst. Come on. I know you love this thing. Come on, out you get. Come on. Oh, she won't move. Go, go, go. Psst, 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 psst. I'll touch it with a tiny bit of flame. Let's see how it lasts. Well, that's what we call a good night sister. If Fluffy Cat has a good imagination, it could become like an invisible hideaway for her. It's quite a strange material because it feels flimsy, it feels like paper, but it's actually a style of plastic. And the best thing about burning something, well, it starts to tell you what it is, and when you see the way it's burnt, that's definitely plastic. And hopefully we learned something there, or else as usual I get into a whole stack of trouble. That was firsty work, wasn't it, Fluff? Thomas & Friends watches. I'm not going to spend too much time on these, no pun intended. This one was the one my son played with. His name used to be on the back. It came via the charity shop. I believe it's a knockoff item. He saw it in a bag of stuff and he grabbed it and he liked it. Okay, so it's very Thomasy. It's not really about telling the time. It can't tell the time anymore because it's busted. Unknown, that one, I dare say it's knockoff. This one here, through the charity shop again, it was nearly $10. It's a 2011 item. Okay, the licensing info is tiny. Okay, it's there. Maybe the way it looks tells you much about the era, and again, it's not about the time, it's the fact you're wearing something Thomasy. That's what fashion's all about. A projector watch here. This is one that I purchased. I just picked up the strange stuff. Okay, it projected those images there. Again, it's not really about the time, it's the fact that it did other funky things and looked a bit Thomasy. It's actually quite large. Okay, it's like a giant adult watch, if you can see my wrist there, but you can't. It's 2015 licensed. I'm not going to zoom in because I'm running out of time. Okay, seen that one here? Okay, this is the strange one. This is the odd bod of the watches. I picked this one up. I'll just let you see the box first. When I was picking up Dark Side knockoff toys. Okay, so it says my first Thomas there, and I've always suspected this is a knockoff, and things like this are often in the knockoff realm. Okay, so that's the way it was packaged inside. On the back there is the licensing info, which I actually don't believe, or maybe I'm wrong or right. It says 2005 Ghislaine blah blah. Maybe it is legit. Now the time conundrum in this case is I purchased this about 10 years back, so that makes it 2010, although it's saying a 2005 licensed item. Okay, you can see clearly how it's packaged. It's got this puffy thing in there. Let's take a closer look at this. Okay, this is the back of the watch. Guess what it says? Made in China. Now, what I don't like is I'm not seeing any licensing info on this item. It just feels, the band feels cheap. Okay, where this was being purchased, there was every other brand imaginable, Disney, everything, and whatever else, Minions, all done like this. Okay, I'm not seeing licensing there on the face of the watch, and that's where I'd really like to see it. I'll give you a close look at the band now that I've opened it up. It sucks you in, doesn't it? I really suspect this is a knockoff item which was done in a very, very clever box. It's quite tricky. I did take some photographs of my iPhone so you can see up close what's going on here. Maybe that's going to help you work out exactly what this is. It's one of these things. Look, parts of this look impressive, but then again, parts of it don't. Some of the artwork looks fairly ratty, and in a strange way, the box is almost more impressive than what comes out of the box. Where I purchased this from, for the fact there were lots of other well-known brands done in very similar fashion. That's saying to me it's a knockoff. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe you can tell me what you think. Okay, pencil boxes and stationery items. Now, this is a metal box. It's got relief prints of the engine here, and the fact you can feel them. It's a very nice item. I'll just show you the back here. I've just left it as it came from the charity shop. It's a bit knocked around, a little bit messy. It is licensed there to 2006. It is a bit hard to read. It's a bit blurry. I can see it says Playworks International, so I can only assume this is pack loaded with stationery. That's when you take a look inside, it gets a little bit sad because it's missing what would have been trays. In here, the little plastic arms that held the trays are still there. The artwork in there, it's reminding me of the games table. This is 1 year before the licensing info on the games table. It's just sad. It's a bit knocked around, smashed around inside. Things like this, to be worth anything, have to be in Mickey Mouse pristine condition. It really always comes back to condition. And here's another classic example of something from the charity shop and the way it turned up. I haven't tried to tidy this up. It's one of those pencil cases you can put your name in here or whatever. You probably put your favourite Thomas character. It is a licensed item. It's 2006 down there. I'm not going to zoom in because I'm trying to be nice and fast here. You can see the engines on the back there. I do like this. It's showing Thomas love. It has been used, and that's what we want to see. But often stuff in the charity shop came loaded with other things, and this is a great classic example. So there are these cards here, and I thought to myself, okay, what's going on here? Some sort of educational thing. And it's when you flip this down, hopefully we're going to learn something here. There we go. It says 6. So we've got 6 Percys there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's quite nice, isn't it? Okay, there's Edward playing up on me. It says 2. But what's it going to say here? Oh, there. How to spell 2. Yeah, Toby. What's Toby going to say? Box? Oh, no. Brown. I was almost going to say boring. Okay. White. What's white going to tell me? It's been stubborn on me because it knows it's on camera. White is going to... What? It's very cryptic, that one. It's got little, like, barely visible things there. Is that saying those items were white? There's Harold. Well, Harold's white. What's it going to say? Oh, duh, white. Yeah, there we are. That's what it's called. Luckily we came across this card. Thomas and Friends Numbers and Colours, a parent card. And maybe we'll find a licensing thing on this if we look very carefully. I'm being a bit rogue here. Okay, I can see 2012. That's a good year. I'm just making sure I've got a full set of these. I want to show you something else here. It says 19 two-sided flap cards. Now, I have just counted them. Okay, there's the full set here. Now, there's something that I think quite curious. Remember, this is 2012. I like to point things like this out. Okay, we've got Thomas. Just remember the characters we're seeing. Harold, James, Henry, which is nice to see. Okay, Toby, Rosie, had to think there for a moment. 14, number 14 engine, a mental blank, sorry. Kevin, very curious to see Kevin. They really tried to make Kevin popular, okay. Gordon, the fat man, Emily, Thomas, is that Thomas again? Birdie, which is nice in a sense. Percy, Mavis, Percy, Edward, Toby. Okay, Harold again. Now, do you remember back when I looked at those other, was it the party cards, and we saw Diesel? Do you think we're not really seeing a nice representation here of what could have been? Okay, I'm seeing double ups and I'm seeing omissions. I'll call it omissions. Maybe you see it a totally different way. It would have been nice to maybe. What's wrong with seeing Diesel 10 or Diesel? Okay, that's what I'm saying. It just seems. I'll just say the word. What's a nice word? Left. It just seemed a little bit left. Because the collection goes over so many years, you get to see how things change. For the better or for the worse, you can tell me. And there's a really, really strange item. I actually purchased this, and I purchased it because I just thought it was so weird. It's Thomas & Friends. Well, guess what? 100 pencils. It's 100 pencils with stand. It's licensed to 2012. You can see it down there. I picked this up from a strange place, in a sense, from Woolworths. It's like a supermarket chain in Australia for $9. And I just saw it. I just thought, what a strange item. Now, what is a little bit weird here is the artwork there has got some sort of mold or something going on there. That's actually on the paper. It's never been opened. But we are going to come along and open this right now, if I can get the lid off without smashing these up. I might need to just get a little knife to cut that there. I've got to do a couple of cuts. It's hard to do it when you're holding a camera. Okay, it's free. Yeah, look at that. It's got all mouldy. So I'm not exactly sure what's gone on there. That's disappointing, because it was such a strange item. I thought I'd like to keep this. And there's your 100 pencils with stand. A couple of them have gone a bit AWOL there. I don't know how that's happened. It's quite a nice looking item when you look at it like that. If you had that on your art table, you're in Thomas & Friends heaven, and it just looks fantastic. I've just got an antibacterial wipe here. I'm just trying to take off the black marks. I don't think I'm going to get those off. Oh, is it coming off or not? Looks like it's actually stained right into the card. I'm taking the colour off. I can see it's pulling the dye out of the cardboard. The card's just going to fall apart if I keep cleaning. I don't think I'm going to save that. That's a shame. I pulled it out of the boxing, put a bit of Dutch tilt in the camera to make it look spiffy. It looks great. It got all the colours there lined up, the darker colours at the back. Yeah, it is, I think, one of the strangest things that I've seen Thomas & Friends. Let me pull a few pencils out and I'll show you the way these have been marked out to ID them. Midway through the pencil, it's marked up Thomas the Tank Engine, nice and chromy. And on the end of the pencil there, it's marked up as 2012 Ghislaine Thomas Blah. Gets back to that functional merchandise, which is what I really like, and I'll just get these back in the right order. Now, what is peculiar about this item, I only saw it once and I never saw it in store again, so it may have been in store as a bit of an experiment or something sent out as a batch of, hey, look what we've got. But anyway, I love my Thomas & Friends 100 pencils, and don't forget the stand. You thought I was going to smash that to smithereens, didn't you? Well, I actually quite like that item, and that's why I picked it up and bought it, hey? Just in front of that there is it's just fallen over. This is a little 1999 Thomas & Friends egg cup. Bringing back some memories. Many would argue that's the golden era of Thomas & Friends. I'm going to take a look at my Viewmaster next. I'm not going to look at that because I looked at that as a standalone video, I believe, on my channel a little while back. Okay, come with me, Viewmaster. The good old Viewmaster. This is 2003 Ghislaine Thomas Blah Blah. It is Thomas and the Jet Engine story. Unfortunately, I've only got one disc. I think this came with 3 discs. I'm thinking of my own Viewmasters that I've got as a kid. They always seem to come in 3s. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And I'm not going to hop on the wiki whatever to work it out. It's a stereoscopic image, so what happens is you've got 2 images that when you look through the Viewmaster it becomes like a 3D image. I loved these as a kid, and I'm not even sure whether I can show this through my iPhone or whatnot. I will try. This is what this looks like. It's a Thomas & Friends themed Viewmaster. Okay, my old classic one's red and it's sort of more boxy. This is nice and rounded and very sort of child friendly, if I could say it like that. There you go, Thomas & Friends there. I think this is a nice item. It's a shame I haven't got more discs, and I'm not going to go and hunt them up. Let me see if I can put my iPhone in here and show you the disc. I'm on my iPhone now and I'll click through this disc. We'll see what's going on. Bringing back the memories, isn't it? You can also hear the Viewmaster sound, which I think is very much part of the fun of this device. Yes, I've only got part of the story. Maybe this is the best part of this episode. One of the all-time classic Thomas episodes. Oh, the indignity. I'm not exactly sure how well that worked, and I'll show you my low-tech way of doing that. A lot of blue tack, the iPhone lens looking down only one side, so we weren't getting the lovely stereoscopic, but that's sort of it, very low tech. And of course I had it down stable, or else the image is jumping around all the time. There you go, trade secrets all given away. I put the Viewmaster away from where it came before, and the next item we're going to take a look at is a Thomas & Friends show bag. Incoming one Thomas & Friends show bag. I was trying to find something during 2020 that was current Thomas & Friends merchandise. I thought I struck gold. I saw this in a toy store. I saw lots of other show bags as well. But when I look on the bottom here, it says 2017. I got semi-excited when I saw this in store because, well, I don't see that much merchandise these days. Let's empty out this bad boy and let's see what we get. I think the receipt and how much I paid for this is inside here somewhere. Okay, there's that there. A reward chart. Maybe that can be something that YouTube could put up for me, but I doubt it. Looks like a backpack there. Looks quite interesting actually. Looks like a lunchbox there. A nice water bottle. There's the receipt there. Wow, that is weird. Foam bath toys. I think that, well, I was almost going to say that can go straight in the bin, but that could be very awesome. I shouldn't be too negative, should I? What's that? Some sort of ball? Is it a punching balloon or something? And it looks like a Thomas Adventures character. Young Bao. I would have preferred someone apart from that. Anyone else apart from that. Here's a receipt. A toy store called Toymate in Australia. Fantastic toy store. It was $30 and looks like a bit of a discount as well. Maybe you can also see I purchased a Stranger Things bag as well, and it wasn't on display in store. A staff person came out and said, "Sir, would you be interested in buying one of these?" Do you think I'm going to say no? I saw this and I thought, wow, the kids are going to love this, and sure enough, I brought it home. And I said to them, please try and keep it intact because maybe I'll show it online. Oh, guess what? It just got ripped apart, so we're only seeing part of what was in this bag. A whole bunch of it's been picked out. It's actually copyright or licensed 2019 to Netflix under there. And yeah, bits of this are missing, okay? So they've picked at this socks, little key ring, set of coasters, some boot laces, shoelaces, blah blah, transfer thing, iron-on transfer. Okay, and this bag here, and I really had to restrain the children from not picking the rest of this apart. It's great. I mean, it really impressed me as well. Okay, so look, these stores, or this store, Toymate, and I'll show you pictures here, there was lots of other options to choose from, but strangely, the Stranger Things bags weren't out in the open. I think they had trouble with people picking through them and, let's just say, taking stuff in not a very nice way. But I was very pleased the staff person offered it up to me. I grabbed it immediately. Yeah, don't forget, that's not what was represented as a whole thing in the bag. My children couldn't help themselves, but they picked through that, and I sort of don't blame them. And I'll get rid of this because we're meant to be talking about Thomas stuff. Okay, after that derailment, and this actually might be coming good for me. You remember I want to get stuff which is fairly recent. I just looked on the tag here, it says 2019. Okay, it's a bag. I'm just trying to get it out of its plastic nightmare. Okay, it's free. So, Steam Squad, which is different, pulled together. You can interpret that whichever way you want. Yeah, Thomas looking up there. It's very different. It's there's a thing there, and of course I better show you this to prove that it's 2019. You go in there and it says 2019, Ghislaine Thomas, blah 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 blah. Important to see tags, and there should also be a tag on the inside. I wouldn't say it's the best quality sort of bag I've seen. I did a whole video about bags and stuff. There's a tag in here. I have to do some fancy camera work to get up close. Just looking at the graphics here, it's quite abstract. You're not seeing the full Thomas engine, you're just seeing a real close-up of the top of his face there, the eyes looking up. Yeah, it's different, isn't it? Now that's 2019. Now let me show you, and you've already seen this when I did the bag review. There's a bag from 2004, and I can do one of those chalk and cheese shots. They are just so different graphically to look at. Now, which one do you prefer? I'll tell you which one I prefer. It's that one right there. That is a beauty. And the other thing is the feel of this. It feels good. Okay, it's one of these things. This feels like it's going to last some time. The feel of this, it's very, very, very plasticky. Okay, it doesn't feel like it's going to last near as long as something like this. But I have done a whole thing on the Thomas & Friends bags, and I'll just gently put that to the side. Okay, on with something else here. Let's take a look at this here. 2018. Okay. Yes, this is this foam bath toys. Now let me open this up and let's just see who's represented in here. These are quite the handful. I notice there's two styles. There's one which is front facing, that's that block there, and there's one which is, I'll call it the 3/4 view. That's those ones there, and this is nice because I wanted to see stuff that represents things of around about, well, the time I'm making this video, which is 2020. Okay, well, it's the sort of toys that you're going to be seeing now, and it's going to trigger some people, I know, but this is what you would see if you were going into the toy department, if you could find the Thomas toys. A lot of these are peg sitters. There's one there. Percy's a peg sitter. Thomas isn't a peg sitter. James is definitely not a peg sitter, but sometimes he comes without a face. And there is Rebecca, which is, well, sometimes she peg sits and other times she doesn't. Yeah, if you're a Thomas fan right now, that would very much excite you. You'd actually relate to everything there. Although a lot of the old classic Thomas fans are going to be enraged. Let's take a look at this lunchbox next. Let's hope it's a fairly recent date. Graphically, it looks very interesting. Okay, let me see if I can find a bit of licensing info on this. Okay, down here. Oh, very good, I'm happy. It's a 2019 lunchbox. I quite like this graphically. It's reminding me a little bit of the face mask that I made from the Thomas underwear. That'd be a great pattern, I tell you. If it was material, look at that. That's exactly what you need. Something small like that and interesting to look at. Okay, yeah, lunchboxes. People really go for collecting this sort of stuff. Strangely, I haven't got an earlier lunchbox to show you. Maybe because the collectors have already grabbed them all. I like that. Okay, I'm giving that one the thumbs up. Water bottles, man, I've got so many water bottles. This is 2009. It's the same graphics on here as the lunchbox. So those married together. That's nice, actually. And we'll just have a look at this thing here. Could be a little bit weird. Whoa! This is the ball. It's copyright 2019. Now, what I don't like here is it's basically blank apart from one graphic of Thomas going on here. And I'm not even going to bother blowing it up. Okay, just to see one bit of graphic. It's not doing it for me. What we really want to see, if you're going to play with Thomas & Friends balls, is something like this one. This is a clanger. There's something about the older stuff that's really nice. This is an older Thomas & Friends blow-up ball. Notice it's got graphics all the way around, which is really what you want to see on a children's toy like this. It's got the old classic Thomas & Friends Cloud, and a lot of people saw this in one of the earlier big merchandise videos, and they got quite nostalgic and they remembered having one of these. It's a bit deflated, it's a little bit grubby, and it's been used, which is good. The licensing on this is a bit tricky to find. It's actually on the seam here. It's 1999. Okay, it's there. It's very hard to read, and it's a little bit blurry. But you've also got to be careful. Things like this are often in the knockoff realm. You often saw simple toys being heavily knocked off, and I've got another ball here to show just how things change over time with Thomas stuff. Okay, this is Go Thomas Go. This is pushing the time when it was, 1945 sort of thing. There we go, number one engine 1945. Okay, do you remember this era? Okay, yeah, this one's a bit deflated, wear and tear, and the copyright is actually there. It's a 2010 licensed Thomas ball. But a simple point being, you really want the balls like this to have graphics all the way around, and I'm unfortunately not seeing that going on there with Mr. 2019 ball. I'll take a look at one last thing from the show bag, and I think it's quite interesting for a couple of reasons. It's 2019, which is great. This is more recent stuff. It's a placemat, and it's got some tracks going around here. Okay, so you could get your favourite Legend. Mind you, that's a Thomas from a long time ago. You don't see Thomases like that anymore, I can tell you, boys and girls. And look at the graphics here. Okay, look at the combination of characters, which is what sort of caught my eye. The fact that Henry's included. There's Belle there. Okay. Toby's feeling all lonely. And there's Rebecca. That's quite nice to look at. It's very lovely. Well, I'm just packing up the show bag, and I'll tell you what, I actually quite like that. There were some nice items in there, and it's very hard to find Thomas & Friends merch from the time when I'm making this video, which is the virus year of 2020. Horrible year, and I was very gently put this over there somewhere. I'm going to have to take a break. There's a fair bit of noise coming from next door. I'll be back in a flash. Okay, there's peace in the neighbourhood. The next item we're going to take a look at Top Trumps Activity Pack Thomas & Friends. Now, I never saw what I call the native Thomas & Friends trump cards, if you know what I mean. These are bigger than trump cards, I believe. I think there's a pencil or something in there as well. Okay, I'm going to need a little Neferuni action to get this open. And I was just really curious to see what characters are displayed in this set of cards. I should have shown the back of the pack as well. Multiple games in here, licensed to 2016. So maybe that's going to give you a clue to what characters you're going to see here. Okay, hasn't been pulled apart, so we're getting them in groups. Thomas, Percy, Rosie. Very CGI looking. Henry, Edward, a fat controller. James, Cranky, a very happy version of Cranky there. Gordon, you know what I'm going to be saying. I'm trying to, you know, where's Diesel? Harold, yeah, that's sort of similar to what we were seeing going on in that other pack of cards, and it's a bit, well, to me it's a little bit like we're missing a whole stack of what could have been very funky characters going on there, and I think that's a bit of a miss. I better have a proper look at these. They say, you fobbed that off way too fast. Well, there's 2 cards for each character in the set, okay? One is a synopsis card, blah 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 about Thomas, and then it's got more of a traditional trump card where you've got your rankings here of what Thomas is. At a glance, it looks like friendship and power of the highest score, but it's not. It's actually mischief. Okay, it's the way the graphics are done here is a little bit off center in a sense. Okay, so he's quite mischievous. I would have ranked him at speed a bit higher, but hey, thinking of things that go fast, here's Gordon. Okay, so he ranks highest for speed. Mischief, I really would have cranked him up there to number 8. Let's say mischief. I don't know, maybe it's all different now. I'm thinking back of the old Gordon. He has a synopsis card as well, looking at the faces there. And then I think the next one's quite funny, and it's Cranky, okay? There's Cranky there, dough-faced, happy Cranky, a bit of a synopsis. But what's curious about Cranky is there's actually 2 cards. There's a happy Cranky face and a cranky face. And then when you look at his trump card, in the sense, well, he's low ranked at speed. Power, he's got his highest ranking there. Friendship, I would have, crikeys, I would have given him 1 there. And mischief, man, I would have scored him absolute top score of mischief, because Cranky is always causing mischief. I've also dragged out, I'm calling it a native packet of trump cards, normal trump cards. This game has been around for a long time. I played this at school, even when I was in junior school. I probably would have been the first sort of generation of kids playing this game without giving any ages or dates away. Okay, this is which is the fastest, and it's a theme of trains. And it brings back, well, trump cards really haven't changed that much. It's a fantastic thing. I'm hoping it's still popular with children. Yeah, there we go. So you can look at all your favourite trains there, and you can work out, you know, you might score something by the year it was built, the speed, whatever else. It's flooding memories back into my head of playing this game. I think I used to enjoy playing ships, the ships of the world. I'm just thinking back to the ones that I had. They're probably worth megabucks on eBay now, those original trump sets. But why I've got this out is because people would have said, oh, but Leo, those Thomas & Friends trump activity pack cards, without saying trump cards, are the same size as, I'll call it, your standard classic trump card pack, without getting mixed up there. And at a glance, it actually looks the same, but it's when you lay one on top of another one is when you start to see what's going on here. And if I just get that on the corner there and a corner there, the activity pack cards are actually just that little bit bigger, okay? So yes, until you see them on top of each other at a glance side by side, well, actually you can make them look exactly the same size. I did have a bit of a look on Google. I typed in Top Trumps Thomas and Friends, and yes, there are a few variations of this. I've never seen a packet like this. I'm pretty sure I've already said that. There is a junior set, and it's sort of very baby, and it's, look, I don't know, if you like that, you're going to struggle with the junior set. The activity pack, I think, comes with the two styles of cards, and of course, there's the pencil there. I should always show the pencil. Okay, there's lots and lots of those around. But unfortunately, I don't think there's many that are like that. This is going to be complete proof Thomas and Friends does everything, and this is stuff you're going to find around your bathroom. I've sort of split it up into two camps. That clump of stuff there is all 2009, and you're going to know that because it's got that goofy face. That's very 2009. I think it rolled over the 2010 era as well. This here, I'm not sure whether I've ever showed this on my channel. It's like a fold out, okay, it's something that you sit on without a trigger word for YouTube. Okay, I've got to be really careful what I say in videos. It's just got ridiculous, actually. Okay, so that's a nice item. It's unusual. I like unusual. Okay, there's a stand there that you put to, I don't know, get into the bath. This item here, there were so many of these came through the charity shop. And I didn't know what they were. It's got like a flappy thing there. It's got like a split here. Okay, it's got a handle on it as well. Yeah. This Bathmat, okay, this is a bit of a different era. This is actually 2012. It is a legit item. I thought maybe it was knockoff because I noticed it was starting to peel away bits and pieces, but it has got licensing. It is there. It's extremely hard to see. Okay, it's 2012 there. Coming across here, we've got a menagerie of 2012, 13 and 14 stuff. I sort of threw that earlier in the video, I believe. And potentially I've shown that before on my channel, okay? It's just, again, it's a bit of an unusual thing. You can see what it does. It does the same job as that item there, okay? Although I like the funkiness of the fold-upness of that versus that there, without saying any trigger words. There's some sort of, I don't know, possibly hand net, or I don't know what that is. That's the way it came by the charity shop. All this landed by the charity shop. There's another mat there, okay, and it's funny, all the graphics on this stuff here is all fairly similar. That's just 2012, 13, 14 era. Another one of those stands to get up and jump into the water, and another one of these, and it was still a mystery to me. Lots of these came through the charity shop, and it wasn't until another one landed, I told you there were lots, and I thought to myself, okay, this one's still got its label on, and it explains exactly what it does. So it's a Thomas & Friends shampoo rinser, and you use it like that. So you can pour water over your baby's face, and you're not putting suds into their eyes. I've just got that classic Thomas ball, and I'll give you a demonstration on the ball how this would work. So let's say you've got shampoo on the child's head there, although it's a Thomas ball, and you put that like that, and you could rinse, and Thomas's face isn't getting the sudsy water going over his face there. But crikeys, I've been a parent, and this is the way we did it at our place. Like, there's your jug of water to wash the face, and what you did was you got your hand, or if you had smart children, they'd put their hands here, and you go whooshka, and you know, Thomas isn't getting wet. I've got a sneaky suspicion a lot of the bathroom stuff came as a set, and you were getting all these combined, and I'm pretty sure that something like this was also part of the set. Now, these have been little decoration pieces I've had over the back of all these videos. They look solid, but they're actually foam, and they make a squeaking sound. They're Thomas themed, okay, and it's sort of like your classic let's get the baby branded, you know, while it's still in nappies sort of thing. Look, does this stuff give me joy? It's a curious joy, probably the best way I could say it. You do ask yourself, is it worth hanging on to this stuff? Is it really valuable in the future? I'll be honest here, I think it's just dime a dozen sort of stuff. It's very common. There was so much of this stuff coming through the charity shop it wasn't funny. But hey, I might be totally wrong. That 2009 fold-up Thomas toilet seat in 20 years' time could be selling for $1,000 on eBay. Look, stranger things have happened. There you go. I told you Fluffy would still like it. It's an imaginary hideaway for her. Time for some house cleaning. Oh my goodness, the Thomas ukulele is back in one piece. So many people were putting in comments, oh, we don't like the way he smashes up the ukulele. He does it in every episode. Well, it's actually something that I'm calling the running joke. Okay, we've got to have some fun and entertainment in what can be fairly dry videos. Okay, I've proven to you this thing is as tough as nails. Super glue is amazing at repairing a toy like this. Now, I do like and respect this, but it's called a running joke, and if you're struggling with that, maybe you shouldn't be watching these videos. Anyway, I'll very carefully and gently put this over to the side like that. And on with the next item, and it's going to be the Thomas & Friends kitty harness. This item came via the charity shop. It's a bit banged around. It has got licensing info on it down here. It's 2014 in that area there. I won't hover on that too much. And there's some lovely pictures there of how this item is used. I've just noticed a company name Hunter Leisure. Do you remember that company name when I spoke about them a fair time back on my channel? Yeah, so it was back when I was looking at some knockoff plush and it was using their company name on tags, and that company was lovely to talk to because they explained to me how the knockoff realm so often likes to just rip off tags and labels to make them look legit. Now, this is a legit item, I do believe. I've got no fear in saying that, and it actually looks stunning. Now, what I like about this, apart from it looking very Thomasy and fantastic, it would actually sit in my Thomas the Tank collection really nicely. Okay, imagine walking down the street with that on your back. It certainly beats having a monkey on your back. There's a little bundle of instructions here, and because I'm a man, I can clip these and I can just get rid of them, can't I? Because that's what men do all the time. Woo! This is a very nice piece of Thomas & Friends merchandise. Why don't we see stuff like this all the time? To give you a scale idea of how big it is, or small, there's a Thomas Wooden Railway Thomas next to that. Put it this way, it's not too big and it's also not too small. It's got some great Thomas details. We've got the white running board there, we've got a lamp there, we've got these lamp pegs as well, buffer details, we've got wheels. We've got an optical illusion going on because we can see the front of Thomas and it looks like we can see back to the driver's cab, but if I do this, it gives the game away. He's like he's being caught up between two very big containers and squashed. It is a fantastic item. It's very Thomasy. It looks great. It's got a great face and it's got a little zipper pouch here. There is licensing tags in there. I nearly couldn't get that word out. It's a hard word to say. They're dug right deep in there. This is a legit item. Just believe me on that. Okay. On the back here, that's what you're going to strap into if you're the little one with the Thomas on your back, which is way better than having a monkey on your back. And then there's a lead that can clip on the bottom here. I should be a sales rep for Hunter Leisure. Maybe they can give me a call and give me a job. Mind you, it is the virus here. There's no jobs about. And then there's this section here, which I think is great. Now, I was a bad boy when I was young, and I had to wear something like this. Mind you, it was just all leather straps. It was like a... Well, I can't say what I thought it was like as an adult because I'd get flagged on YouTube. But I didn't have the luxury of having that. And that goes back to mummy or daddy or the pet of the house who's holding that there, controlling the little one who's got Thomas on his back. You guys know I'm an extremely hard marker when it comes to looking at Thomas & Friends stuff, and I'll tell you what, I'm giving this a massive. If I had 5 thumbs on my hand, I'd be doing that. It is a classic piece of merchandise. Now, I've never seen a young one running about with one of these on. And if I did, I'm the sort of person, if I didn't have one of these, I'd go up to the mum and say, hey, here's my address. When you finish with that, can you pass it on to me? Because, as I said, this would be a fantastic thing in my Thomas the Tank collection, because to me, it's very, very Thomasy. And it's in this video, we've seen actually 2 nice pieces of merchandise. That was one of them, and earlier on, we saw this item here, which the more I think about this item here, the more I liked it. Okay, yeah, so they're sort of the same size. Both those items have really impressed me. I was going to hop on the eBay and hunt down and see if these were available anywhere, but I'd give you a warning. Be very careful, because I bet you that an item like this would be so easily knocked off and there'd be clones and horrible copies of it. It's funny, remember we saw that business name, Hunter Leisure, on the back here, and I've certainly spoken to that company. They're based in Australia, and they told me a really, really awesome story about how the dark side works, in particular with items like this one. It's really nice to come across something that's been well thought out, well presented, and well made. Okay, they're the three little boxes you want to tick when you're making merchandise, but sadly, it seems to be so rare. It is raining today. Maybe you can hear the tinkle tinkle of rain on the roof as I'm talking and making this video. I normally don't make these videos in the rain, but it made me think of the Thomas & Friends raincoats, and I have a couple of examples here. This one is going back in time. It's 1999. It's very hard to see because it's on blue. It's black on blue. And that's the print. We're going to look at the back prints first and then the front prints. Okay? Maybe that's bringing back some very strong memories for you. I hope it is. This one here, I like this one. I like it a lot. Okay? Britt Allcroft Thomas Limited 1999. Look at that there. Looks fantastic. And again, lots of memories for a lot of my audience if they see that. Going to school in that. This one here is a little bit later, and in a sense you sort of see the drift and how things change dramatically visually. This one is 2013, and honestly it's not doing it for me like the others. There's the tag from the charity shop. Sadly, things like this rarely ever were picked up, and that's how I ended up with them. And there's the licensing tag there, 2013. Okay, the rain's getting heavier. I have flipped them over so we can see the front design in these raincoats. Now remember, the top two were 1999. At the time of making this video, these raincoats are 21 years old. Now, doing a little bit more maths, potentially the children who would have been wearing these would be adults at the time of making this video. They're probably about 25 years old. Okay, YouTube, did you hear that? Adults are watching this video. I like that one on the front, but then again, the one that I liked on the back, to me, doesn't look as impressive on the front. This is also 1999. We've got the Thomas the Tank Engine Friends cloud there. It looks like we've got puffs of chugging smoke, or is that clouds in the sky? So you might have put your Thomas in there going to school, and that was him chugging away. On our front pocket there, we've got a very nice, old-fashioned, and the Thomas that we like to see, okay? Moving on to the 2013, and the camera's going to get a bit wonky here. I don't know, to me, like the back design, this isn't doing it for me. We've got just Thomas there. A lot of the charm has disappeared, and we've got quite a large print of Thomas down there, where sometimes normally you'd have a pocket, but the pocket's not there. There's a bit of a story to this one here. I nearly couldn't save it. I think it was packed wet. So when these are packed wet, when they get all squashed down and whatnot, they tend to stick together. So when it comes to unpacking it, you're literally almost tearing it to get it apart. And I don't know, I was almost not going to show these, but I thought to myself, wow, there'd be so many people who wore things like this. In fact, you can see where we've lost part of the print there because it was all stuck together. I think you've got to put a little bit of talc on these if you're going to pack them away, or definitely make sure they're completely dry. Okay, but look, Thomas & Friends raincoats, I think every child, you go to school for a raincoat, and if you've got your favourite little franchise, it's a very proud thing to do, and I think that's why I brought them into this video. I've only got 3 here. There were others that went through the charity shop, but where they used to fail, you used to find they were ripped around this area here, around the arms, and if something was damaged, I'm not interested in it. Okay, you've got to draw the line somewhere, but I just remember there was lots of things like this, but that's a lovely trip back in time. Now the next item is going to go way back in time before 1999. It's a fantastic item. It's something I held back for a special video, and maybe this is a nice video to show it. It is one of the most stunning items, and that'll be next, but I might have to just delay until the rain passes. It's just too noisy on the roof. Okay, the rain has stopped, and this is a stunning piece of Thomas & Friends merchandise. It's from a long time ago, and in fact I've got another piece of the same era hiding at the back. I wonder what I'm going to lift up here. Ooh, yeah, look at that there. A nice old Thomas and Friends bum bag. Definitely the glory days of merchandise, and we'll take a look at the wondrous bag under the bum bag first. The way I'll describe this item, it's like the size of a smaller man bag. Okay, it's got a zipper across the top, it's got a zipper around Thomas's face area here. On the side, there's a nice side shot of Thomas there, all detailed and looking spiffy. He's running on tracks here, there are sleepers there. The sort of details that we like to see, chugging a bit of steam. Okay, it's looking very nice. On the front here, we can see the Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, a classic shaped cloud. Going down here, there's Thomas's face, all the buffer details, the right running board, a couple of their wheels. A little zipper area on the front. It's only a small area this. I'm not exactly sure what you would have put in there, but it's very cute. The face looks fantastic as well. On this side here, it's Thomas basically running the other way because he's, well, chugging that way now. All detailed, all beautiful. On the back here, again, it's looking all Thomasy. The back of the driver's cab, the cold bunker, the light on the back, buffer details, and let's take a look at that licensing. The printing there is tiny. I've taken a photo so you can see it better, and I'm going to read this one completely to you. Copyright Britt Allcroft Thomas Limited 1992. Based on the Railway series by the Reverend W. Audrey. All publishing and underlying copyright worldwide William Heinemann Limited. I made a point of reading this out and showing you clearly because if you were going to buy this bag online, this is really important to see. You want to see it exactly like this. I'm just going to show you the bag up close now, and look, it's got a little bit of wear and tear, but I tell you what, it's in pretty good condition considering its age. And at the time of making this video, this bag is 28 years old, so potentially people who are playing with this or had it as children are well into their 30s by now. It's actually quite scary when you think of it like that. I should show you the underneath because you'll say, oh, but you never showed us the underneath, Leo. Often with bags, you'll find there's wear and tear in this area here, and the other place where bags wear and tear is the zipper area. And you'll want, you know, if you're paying good money for one of these online, I did try to find one. I've actually got it packed out with stuff to make it puffy. You'll want everything to be working and in good order. The strap on it, which is also something else that would be wear and tearable, that's in pretty good nick as well. So considering its age, this bag is in pretty good nick. There is a licensing tag inside, and what I will do is I'll take photographs of my iPhone because it's actually very hard to see. It's right down inside the bag, and it's about the only way we're going to see it properly, and we'll go to that next. The label inside, it says Ostrom International. Now the date there's different. It says 1994. The outside of the bag said 1992. The other side of this tag, it says either #90 or 06 hash. Is that a style number or number of production? Yes, I don't know, but all I know is these were hard to see deep in the bag. In my books, this is a beautiful Thomas and Friends item. It's from a bygone era. It's ticking all the boxes that we want to tick when it comes to Thomas and Friends merchandise, and you ask yourself, why don't we see it this good these days? Now, I did look online very carefully for something like this. I could see stuff from the 90s, the early 90s, and I think the important thing when you're searching is type in the word rare. Without that word rare, you'll basically have nothing come up in the search. It seems stuff from that era is all deemed rare, even if it is or it isn't, okay? As for how much this is worth, I really don't know, but as I said in other items, it all comes down to condition. It's only going to be worth something if it's in Mickey Mouse condition and not showing much wear, tear or Thomas love. Okay, if it is showing wear, tear and Thomas love, I'll be honest here, I don't think it's worth very much at all. Now, seeing this bag reminded me of a very infamous bag that I've shown on my channel. Maybe you'll know where this is going, especially when I saw the little pop-out Thomas face there. Okay, yes, I will bring this bag on. It's a knockoff item, and they are actually very, very common in the part of town where I live. Now, it had a major fault. Maybe you can see that here or not. This is a knockoff item, okay? There's Thomas's face, but for some reason the cold bunker, I just laugh. Every time I see this, I laugh. The cold bunker's at the wrong end, okay? It's like this piece here should be up here, but it's all been made back the front. These were basically going for like $10, and I think there were so many of them. In the end, they were dumping them for a couple of dollars. Dime a dozen, literally, of a Thomas & Friends knockoff item. And the fact it had that little zippy face going on there very much reminded me of the Thomas Glory that's laying there. Now, how much is that worth? Well, as a bit of laugh value, it's worth nothing, okay? And the sad part is people see this online, they're probably paying way too much. They probably don't even know it's a knockoff item. As for how much this other bag is, and I don't normally like doing this, I would say if something like this is in really good Mickey Mouse condition, and let's say you're getting it for under, I'm going to say a word under $20, I reckon then you're getting a Thomas & Friends bargain. And if you're going to ask me, where do I rank this piece as in the way I see it, how much do I like this? I really like this item. It gives me a lot of Thomas & Friends joy. It's a fantastic item. We'll take a look at this little bum bag next, and it's also beautiful. Maybe it would be safer saying waste bag. We know what YouTube's like these days. Very sensitive site. Okay, it says Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends there. And I'll just very slowly turn around so you can take a look at the graphics on this. It's fantastic. And there's the licensing there. Let's take a close look at that. And that's a very similar read to the previous bag we just looked at. Has me thinking what's going on inside. Ooh, the zipper feels nice. I have padded this out with a plastic bag. I'll take that out and we'll take a look at the tag right here. This one's much easier to see. I think it's identical to the previous bag, and we'll take a look at the other side. Yes, it's either hash 90 or 06 hash. Looking inside this item, it's actually in fairly good condition. Always check inside a bag to see what it's been up to. Yes, a very nice Thomas & Friends merchandise. And I tell you what, you just do not see it like that anymore. Well, there is that saying, the good old days, that's what the good old days were all about. Just completely stunning looking merchandise. And remember, if you were playing with items like this, you would absolutely definitely be an adult now, up in your 30s. It's a bit scary. Time does fly. Now, the next item we're going to take a look at, it's something I purchased from a retail shop that was in collapse, and it's called a train connector game. Here's the back of the box, a bit of a read there on how to play the game. It's also licensed to 2015, and it's done by Tree Toys. They do quite a few Thomas & Friends gamey sort of stuff. This retailer's shop closed right at the start of 2020, and put it this way, if it was still there today, it would be closed now. So many shops have been taken out by the virus here. I watched this in store for a long time. To me, nobody ever picked this up and purchased it. Okay, we've got the bits and bobs in there. There is a bag there, a nice Thomasy sort of bag. Okay, I'm very curious about the characters in this set here. Okay, and there's also some constructions here. But I watched it go, well, the store closed and everything went on discount, and in a sense that's why I ended up with this here. This is the bag. It's that strange material that, it feels like papery something, but it's actually plasticky something. It's the same material as the Hideaway that got burnt up in this video. 2014 underneath there. And that on the other side. Maybe that would make a fantastic face mask print, or maybe not. It's funny, the constructions here, before I screw them up and throw them away, it shows this here. There's a correct way of joining these pieces together, and then there's an incorrect way. Okay, well, we've seen that now. We don't need this. Get rid of that. And here are the pieces to the game. It's a weighty bag, put it that way. They're actually bigger than what I thought they'd be. So in my adult hand, they're going to look nice and sizable. Just let me get these out and I'll find the character sets we want to look at. Okay, this is the die of the game. It's nice. It's made of wood. It's very well made. In fact, the components of this game are excellent. These are the little connecting pieces. Now, there's no copyright on this one. This is quite curious. That's Thomas there, okay, in what looks like snow. And there's no copyright on that. Just remember that, okay? And it's the graphics on this which is sort of the charmer. Plus, these feel great in the hand because they're timber, they've been well made. There's James. I'm just going to rattle through these. Look at this. Great to see Diesel. So often you don't see Diesel represented. There's Gordon there. Hero, okay, very nice. And noticing we're getting the copyright on these as well. You tell me if you see copyright on every one. Oh, there's some missing. Diesel and Thomas, which is fantastic to see. Okay, mental blank, whoever that is, you can fill in the gaps for me. Spencer, at the seam works, and the graphic is the same on the back. I should show you that. And there's the Fat Man and Thomas. I'm not seeing any copyright on that. It's strange. Some have got it and some don't. And I've got another stack here. I'm not going to go through all of them. There's actually quite a few pieces in this set. But are you noticing something about the characters already? Okay, well there's Henry. Okay. Oh, Victor. It's sort of giving you an era, isn't it, of when this is based. Toby. And they look good. It's the CGI stuff, or the CGI look, but hey, it looks pretty good. Bertie and Thomas. Rosie and Thomas. Okay, curious. Some have got the copyright and others don't. Annie and Clarabelle. The faces look very similar there, don't they? That's gonna get some people annoyed. It's the same on that side. It's the same graphics on both sides. Rosie. Okay, Spencer and Thomas. And great to see Cranky. And he looks cranky as well. I've put all the pieces of the game out onto a neutral colour here so we can have a better look at them, and this is actually a lot nicer than what I thought it would be. Now when I come in closer, I want you to take a very good look at all the characters that are represented. I've connected two pieces together there. And then there was something that I thought, wow, it looks like there's absolutely no double ups of pieces or graphics going on the pieces, and I thought, wow, that's really nice to see. I'm pretty sure I'm right there. I'm pretty sure there's not a double up of graphics going on any of those pieces, and that's fantastic. I just did a quick count. I think there's only 6 pieces that have got this copyright 2014 on them, and that sort of perplexed me because I really think that's super important these days. And I think, look, the only negative thing I'm going to say here, I'm not going to talk about the gameplay because I'm just looking at the pieces as a collectible. Look, it's great we see Diesel here, but looking over the rest of the pieces, where's more Diesels represented? I suppose Mavis is there, but I'm sort of thinking Diesel 10. You know, there's a stack of Diesels in Thomas and Friends, and I'm just seeing maybe way too many Steamies there. I'm just having a closer look at some of these. There's Diesel and Thomas, noticing how happy Diesel looks. But then Diesel by himself, that's what we want to see. That's the devious Diesel in his CGI format. And I think the next one is the one that I feel it's a copy and paste of Annie and Clarabelle's face. I don't think they've done 2 individual faces there. I've had a good hard look at that, and I think it's like some of the toys. They just put the same face on both Annie and Clarabelle. I know some people are going to say, oh, you know nothing, Leo, you're totally wrong. What is, I think, the nicest aspect to this, apart from all the graphics being different, is the fact that we are dealing with pieces made out of wood, and it would have been so easy for this to be made out of plastic, and it wouldn't have been anywhere near as fantastic as stuff made from wood. It's got a great feel, and maybe, I don't know, I'm being a bit picky now because, well, I am picky. Let's just say if we didn't get this sort of plasticky bag, let's just say that was material, and nicely done material, then really I would have scored this like mega high marks, and it would have been something really nice to keep and look after. Nevertheless, for something which is of a fairly recent piece of merchandise, you know what? It's not too bad. I think from memory these were something like $40 in store. I picked it up at a much discounted price. And we always want to look after the good Thomas and Friends merch, don't we? So we'll put this one nicely away, and we'll very gently put it over the side somewhere over there. Time for a bit of a trip back in time. Who had one of these back in the day? It's a Thomas and Friends play tray. That's been very stretched and used. It looks like it would hold in something here. Once again, I feel like I've only got part of what goes on here. Underneath, it's a bit of a strange one. It's a bit like a beanbag scenario here. So you put that on your lap and your legs would, you know, meld into that. There's some little bags here with zippers. Maybe it's a bit of an art and crafty sort of thing. And there is some licensing there. Let's take a look at this. There we are, Play Tray, copyright 2007. And on the flip side of the tag, it's got this warning, small, lightweight beads present, blah, blah, blah. So that's speaking about whatever's going on in here. So if this split open, basically evacuate the house. But anyway, it's very much a bit of a trip back in time, and you sort of don't see the Thomas merch like that anymore. Very important to notice on this that we are well and truly based on Sodor Island. Very important to see. And that's what makes this really nice. As we can see, it's another very big day for Fluffy. Jigsaw puzzles. There are so many of these that have been through the charity shop. In fact, at the charity shop, jigsaw puzzles is one of the most common things that go through. Now, I've picked out two because that one's a bit strange and this one's a bit old. And we'll take a look at this one here first. All the pieces are in on this one. I'll just take a look at the nice graphic there. As you can see, it is a trip back in time. Noticing it's Tree Toys, which is going to, straight away, I think we know that's going to be good what's inside here, okay? The licensing on this is 2001. It says there are 4 to collect, okay, but this is only one puzzle, and I dare say it would make that beautiful picture there. And maybe the letdown on this in a collector's standpoint, because jigsaw puzzles are sort of collectible things, the box isn't in that good nick, okay? It's been repaired, but all the pieces are here, and what is nice about the pieces is that the pieces are in pretty good condition. I've just put together the section where Thomas's face is in the jigsaw, and that's one of the bottom corners of the jigsaw puzzle. And you can see, well, the era of face that there is, and also for the fact that it looks like an old-fashioned picture in the way it's been coloured. It's not bright, spanky, and sort of, you know, popping in your face like you see the stuff today and it's about to fall apart on me. But nevertheless, just remember that, and then I'm going to go to the box artwork on the front very quickly here. Okay, so yeah, look how bright that is there. It's sort of nothing like the jigsaw pieces that we just saw, and if I do a strange edit, I can go back to the other piece. So it's a bit of a strange one for the fact the colouring in this is nothing like the box artwork. The pieces are very nice. It's plywood, okay, so it's going to be a bit better than just say custom wood and the rubbish that came later after that time. The disappointment is the box, and really the price of something like this is so much dependent on the condition of the box, because it just becomes a collectible really. The next one we're going to take a look at, and this is really a strange puzzle piece. It'll do your eyes in if you keep looking at it, and it comes with a sample piece here on the outside to sort of lure you in. Okay, so if you do that, it looks like Thomas is moving. I'm not sure how much it's working for you there. And if we take a look on the back, it says we can make up 3 puzzles here in the Super 3D fashion, and the licensing is the glorious year of 2012. There's a bit of a look of the puzzles that you can make, and I'll just pan across like this to each one. And I think it's this one here which caught my eye. Very much day of the Diesel's era. Diesel works there, Diesel 10, very nice. Here's a better look of the piece that's attached to the handle of this jigsaw box. Okay, you do that and Thomas moves. And that was on the other side of it. Okay, so very much a piece to lure you in, to make you see you got something a bit different versus the normal jigsaw. On the front of the box, they've got examples of the jigsaws, but they've got it set up with that strange effect. Is it called viniculation? What it's doing here, it's making Thomas look very much in the foreground, and the quarry looks very much background. I'm not sure whether it comes across on camera. It works best on the Diesel works. To me, it looks like Diesel 10 and Thomas, and whoever's standing there is really popping out and standing in front of everything else in the background. Okay, I don't know whether it's working through camera. And then there's this picture here, and this one here again looks like Thomas is very much in the foreground. The Fat Controller and car also looks in the foreground, and the sea and everything else in the background looks distant, and also it does look like Harold is actually hovering there in the sky. It's quite a good optical illusion. I purchased this for $12, and somehow the box has been crushed. I think it was in the bottom of one of the big collection boxes that I unboxed at the beginning of these series of videos. I will open this up. It's never been played with, and I am very curious to see some other pieces in here. Of course, we've got to open it up nice and gently, don't we? Okay. That's the way we do it. I almost need that ukulele back, don't I? The little rubber chicken was always a handy thing for opening things up, but you know, we can't annoy YouTube anymore, can we? Okay, these are the pieces. So we've got our bags here for our 3 separate puzzles that we could make up. Okay, I might just open up this one and take a look at Diesel 10. Our family were never really into jigsaws, so they, honest to goodness, they don't really do that much for me. Okay, let me just piece some of this together. Before I go there, there's something I've noticed about these pieces, and if you can see the marks on this, it looks like it's been affected by something. Okay, this doesn't look too clean to me. Now, this has not been played with before. The bags have only just been opened up, but this looks very, very second-hand. So I'm not exactly sure what's gone on here. And also what's going on, and it's noticeable across some pieces, is these are very, very curved and bowed out. Okay, I'm not sure how much I can explain it on camera. Maybe if I go in a bit, you can see it. They're all, is it concave or convex? Everything's sort of got a curve on it. Let me, get some of this together and see what pans out. It's not a difficult jigsaw, but I tell you what, the optical illusion that's going on has actually given me, well, personally, a bit of a headache. I'm not sure whether it affects other people like it's affected me. If you stare into this, man, it's quite disorientating. The optical illusion works in real life. Like I said, I'm not sure whether that translates back to video, but the diesel works look very distant here. Okay, and if I get the video camera up like that, and if I... Is anything happening there, or is it just an optical illusion of distance? Man, it fried my brain putting this together. Copyright there of 2012, and it's just so nice to see Diesel 10 represented in some merchandise. What is he, too scary for children or something now? And it's a CGI looking Thomas, but hey, it looks pretty good as well. Looks fine and dandy. The jigsaw pieces, like I said before, they've got a bit of a bow in them. I'm constantly pushing them back down. I'm not sure whether it's what causes that illusion, that plastic on top of the cardboard has pulled it in that way. Yeah, if I put a straight edge across there, maybe you can see it. What's going on there? Maybe you can see it, or maybe you can't. Like, you can see the bits here popping up. Okay, look, it is what it is. It is a bit of a strange piece of merchandise, and it's really nice to see Diesel 10 represented. He rarely ever is. I'm not sure whether the 3D comes through the video camera. There's the diesel works and the gates going into it. They look very distant to me, and if you come up to Thomas here, he looks like he's standing out well ahead of the diesel works. It is looking like that through the viewfinder of the camera. Whether or not it translates to that once it's up on YouTube and blah blah, it may not work. Diesel 10 looks good as well. I'm sort of undecided about this. If I do big movements like this and huge arcs, you can see things moving in foreground versus background moving, and I think that's part of the illusion here. But it's the composition that's done my brain in, and maybe you've picked this up. Look, I don't mind the positioning of Thomas there. You can see Thomas clearly. He's in the picture in a sense, but look where they put Diesel 10. He's right on the edge of frame here. Like, he's basically slapped right hard up against the edge. If they stripped in, let's say, another... a few more pieces here and at least giving him some background on that side, it would have been a much happier composition. But no, I just think what lets it down is the positioning of the characters and what would have really been a nice scene. Well, I'm sure the jigsaw experts, and I'm sure there's plenty of them who watch my stuff, can explain to me what's going on there. Oh, look at that, I could have picked it up nearly all in one piece in the way they stick together, but I don't like the way the pieces have bowed. Okay, that to me... it doesn't do it for me. In the fact there's all these strange markings on the pieces as well. I'm not sure what's going on there. And it was fresh out of the bag. And I've, as always, just gently put all this stuff away, hey? There's some Thomas & Friends merchandise which is just really stunning. This is a 2001 Felt Kids Play System, Playmat as I'll call it. And I've shown this before, but I think it's worth looking at this again because it does relate in a way to the next items that I'll be looking at. And I'll just get all the little bits and bobs here in the right spot. Get the fat controller where it should be. Get that person there. It looks like, is that bags of cash? Oh no, it's mail. I was setting up like a gangster story there, but we shouldn't do that because, well, this is YouTube these days. Yes, okay, nice item. And I remember playing with felt toys like this when I was a kid. And there's a particular charm and look to this that many people would really like. Troublesome Chuck looks troublesome, Thomas looks naughty, and Percy looks like Percy. Okay, this is what it's about. This is a fantastic 2001 item, okay? Unfortunately, very few of these items came through the charity shop, if only there were more of these. Whether or not I've got all the pieces there, I don't know. I think they all connect to other play sets. What there was lots of was these magnetic play sets, okay? Lots of these in various conditions. Now, these two may look identical at a glance, but this one folds out in 3, and this one is what they call a bi-fold edition. Okay, this one's a 2000, year 2000 licensed, and I'll just open this up, and they were almost like a peek back into the last time someone played with these. There's a game there to play as well, which is magnetic, and this is the 3 folding one, so there's another section there, and another section there, and maybe you've got some very fond memories of playing with these and putting Thomas in the right spot. It's interesting, there's things in different perspectives as well. There's large things, there are smaller things. There's characters here which look great, you know, in the old style of Thomas and Friends. Remember, this is a 2000 licensed product, okay? Nice railway scene there. I'll just close this one up, and I will just flick it over on the back here. Okay, the licensing is there somewhere. I don't want to get too caught up in that, but there's an idea of the whole play system. Like you got your foreground, background. It's very nice. And then along comes a 2001 version of this same item. It's a bit faded here, this one. I always look in condition of these. There's something going on down the side there. Bifold edition. And this one only opens up like that. Okay. So if you are looking at these on eBay, just be careful what you're looking at and what people are asking. Understand that there's 2 varieties of something that look very, very similar on the cover. Look, this is nice as well, but I think I like the one that opened out in 3. Yeah, so maybe you've had these, maybe you're having massive flashbacks as well, and I will show the back here. It's a 2001 licensed product, wherever it is. Oops, wrong area. That's more like it down there. Okay, so that's those 2, and we'll track forward in time and look at some others. The next 2, we've got pairs like these were plentiful coming through the charity shop. These are both 2003. This one here has got some French there. Okay, and I looked at these carefully and I was thinking maybe the only difference between these 2 is the fact this has got some French lingo on it. I can also see, this is a thing you need to look out for, see the way this is being played with, that's what you call Thomas up, it's been creased, okay, so you can sort of start to see who the favourite characters were, and the ones that maybe weren't so favourite, and it looks like, heavens forbid, Thomas wasn't that favourite, and it looks like James is in good condition as well, okay, it's a trip back in time looking at this, there's all sorts of pieces here, lots of fun when you were young, and this is the other one, did I say 2003? They're both 2003. I'm pretty sure it's the same graphics on both. Okay, and maybe there's bits missing from one versus the other, but this one here looks like, yeah, look at your Henry there. Okay, and then you look at the condition of the Henry from the other one. In fact, they look like 2 totally different colours. What else is going? In fact, there might be different graphics there as well. Is it the same? Oh, it's a bit small. It's just a Thomas mystery, isn't it? It's actually a bit smaller, the French version. I better not... Oh man, I could go into a very deep bunny hole if I keep analysing it like that. This one, to me, feels like it's in better condition. It's been less played with, less Thomas love, as I call it. Yeah, always be careful if you are buying these online. You really want to analyse the condition of this, the condition of the pieces. Make sure it's got all the pieces. And then on the back here... These are, I think, some other scenarios that you could get into. Maybe you've got a collection of these, but I'll tell you what, I like these sort of things. I like them a lot. I just noticed to read there, on the go, play alone or with a friend. I think it's the sort of thing that you take in the back of the car, you play with something like this, the next thing you're car sick. That's what I would have done back in the day. Okay, so what were they? 2003. The next items we're going to take a look at of the same sort of thing. This is 2007. So these are magnetic puzzles in a sense. They're in a metal box and it comes down to condition again. It's a bit banged up. It's the sort of thing that people are going to scrutinise this very carefully if they're going to buy it, and it's only really worth something if these are in Mickey Mouse condition. Now what I will do is I want to creep open this one here. This is the back of that metal box, 2007 down there. They're the 3 pieces of art that you could make up via the jigsaw puzzle, noticing it's back in the days when it was all model looking nice before CGI took out the series. And what I really like about this piece, and this was sometimes the gem finds of the charity shop, is you open it up and it's like a frozen moment of the last time someone was playing with this item. That looks absolutely fantastic. I love finding stuff like this. If only Thomas and Percy there could tell me who was last playing here, that would be fantastic. I'm not sure whether all the pieces are here. Look, it's a lovely piece for the fact, for me, it's a frozen moment. I like that. It's a lovely find. It's a little bit banged up and, you know, you can see it's had Thomas love, and that's really going to affect any sort of resale value. If you were looking at this to buy on eBay and you're paying top money, it has to be in absolute mint Mickey Mouse condition. As soon as it gets banged around or maybe there's pieces missing, it's going to really pull down any sort of value. That was a cockatoo that nearly took me out. Okay, magnetic spelling fun. This is very different and I don't think it's got the charm at all like the other jigsaw set we just saw. It's sort of a bit different in many ways actually. It's got these here, okay, and there are magnetic pieces. If I keep pulling things apart here, of course it wants to play up on me, and there's the pieces there. It's not doing it for me like the jigsaw things, and actually a whole stack of them fell out, and I think, yeah, all the little itty bits and pieces, no, not doing it for me, I'm afraid. I've just noticed these cards have got 2006 on them, although the box does say 2007. It's going to be either or either year. Definitely the one that stands out between those two is that one there. That's a beauty. So you're getting a real feel for how over time things have changed and transitioned. Now all the rest of the items that I'm going to show you here, they're all 2014. This is a Magnetic Fun Creator Scene. It's still all packed up. I think I purchased this, it was basically $17. Okay, there's actually 2 things in here. There's a jigsaw. I'm not going to get into this because, well, I like the older stuff, I'll be honest here. Okay, it's got 2 things. You can see what's going on there. Then there was this item here. I purchased this at Toys R Us. It was basically $10, and it's a Magnetic Fun My Daily Calendar, and it's got some other mucky stuff on the front there. I'm not going to get into this. You can see what this is. It's not doing it for me versus the other classic stuff. Okay, unfortunately, yeah, no. And then these things here, man, these things were a dime a dozen. They're actually $5 in store, and they were everywhere. 2014 era, I think these were all the variations. As you can see, we've moved into the CGI realm. Okay, these did a couple of things. You could make up that there on the inside lid, but it's nowhere near as charming as that earlier stuff. And then there were all these other little magnets that you could sort of play with. No, like I said, yeah, $5. No, there's that one there. Like, I really don't want to get into this because I think if we get around the right way, you can see what's going on there. And I'll be honest here, it doesn't have any of the charm that was going on in that early stuff. Okay, maybe you say, oh, I'm being cruel here, Leo. Maybe you'll say, yes, you're correct, Leo. But I don't know. Oops, again, upside down. Number 4, Gordon. If that's doing it for you, well, good luck to you. And if I compared something from the year 2000 versus something from the year 2014, well, it's like they're from 2 totally different universes. Oh, the indignity. Someone's given me a CGI face. Yeah, it's important to remember this stuff was dime a dozen, and I really just picked out some of the better things. There's a whole lot of stuff which I didn't hang on to, had been too trashed and Thomas loved, and that's great to see. But if people are saying, oh, this stuff's rare and hard to find, blah, 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 well, just be careful what you read into that. Next item, there's 2 of them, the Thomas and Friends Mega Mat. This one came with a Thomas Mini, and what was very strange about this one was on the back of the box artwork. We can see what the playmat looks like, but it's not a Thomas Mini. That's next to that playmat. Dun dun! The playmat does look like fun, and the licensing info there is 2017. In fact, both these items are licensed to 2017, and the Thomas that was on the back of the one which had the Thomas Mini is actually one of these Thomases here. Let me pull out this one here because it's like foam mat, but I think the problem with this one is the playmat doesn't give you enough track to play on. I purchased both of these at Aldi, and from memory they sold pretty well. They were very well priced as well. I have to get this out. Can I do it single-handedly, or do I have to bring in a rubber chicken? Okay, oh, that's funny. For some reason I thought the pieces would be bigger than that. Maybe because the box was so big. And there's a Thomas in there as well, and he's just, well, we'll have to get him out nice and gently, won't we? Sometimes it's a struggle. Oh, actually, maybe if I just come in like this, I'll get the Thomas out. Oh, there's always that other way, isn't there? Phew. Okay, well, there's a Thomas. That was one of the very, very common Thomas toys that was getting around in the stores. It's sort of one of those toys that's like, well, Thomas really should have 3 wheels on each side, but let's not get too cranky too early. Put Thomas gently down, and I'll just assemble part of this playmat. Yeah, that packaging, void. Okay, these pieces, they're nice and bright. The colours are popping out at me. It's reminding me of pull tracks, but I don't think it's anywhere near as thick. In fact, I bet you could lay this out. Oh, I should stop there because, well, let's not play with this in the pool, or someone's going to say, it's not a pool toy, blah, 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 blah. We're in nanny world these days. I've just got to try to work this out. I think the problem, like I said before, there's not going to be enough track. No. I can see, well, look, it needs more track area, it needs more destinations. You got track going off to nowhere, lots of it happening. Let me just get the Thomas that came with this, and I'll show you how it plays, but if only it was a smaller scale and maybe came with a Thomas Wood or something, and not this, this big Thomas like this. These don't have couplings or anything, and these are like real baby toys in a sense. I think this playmat would actually end up frustrating you. It's sort of going nowhere and does nothing, and if it was done on a smaller scale and maybe had a Thomas like this, then I could possibly say, yes, we've got something nice here. Okay, maybe you're going to agree with me, maybe you're not going to agree with me, but look, I've seen a couple of Thomas playmats, but nah, not doing it for me, I'm sorry. Maybe to prove my point, I'll get this other Mega Mat out, remembering they were both classified as Mega Mats, and I'm having trouble opening this one as well. It's sort of opening up. I think the little Thomas is almost free of that. I'm going to have to call in a big agent, I think, to get this out. Come here, Buster. I think this is going to get it out for me. The old Thomas ukulele, which is as tough as they come. Crikey, that nearly got me. That was useless. Maybe I'm just going to get my knife. Boring. Oh, I'm still fighting with this thing. Man, this thing is impossible to get out. Oh, the box is starting to give up on me. Maybe just get back that ukulele again. A few more whacks with that. Oh, it's out. It's finally out. Yay! I finally got it out of that box. Now to find the Thomas Mini. Oh, it's gone flying as well. That's highly annoying. I think it came over this way somewhere. Oh, there it is there. Phew. I hope it hasn't been smashed up. It's in like a parent-proof bubble. So if it's parent-proof, it's going to be child-proof as well. Oh, okay, got that out finally. And let me just crank open this other Mega Mat. And this looks more like what I like to see when it comes to Thomas and Friend, the playmats. Okay, let's open it right out. Yes, I like this, and I like it for a couple of reasons. We've got a nice Sodor Island feel going on here, which is very nice. We've got a station which sort of divides a playmat. One side of the station will go off to these destinations on this side, so you get your little Thomas Mini and you can run around and play havoc and go around the loops and whatnot. And then you can come across to the other side of the playmat. There is a station there. You can dart back out and then you can traverse across the other destinations that are going on this playmat. It's not too big and it's not too small. It's the right scale and gauge. And maybe it's almost better suited for Thomas Wood sort of toys. So then you could have other toys connected to this and you could have maybe a lot more fun with it like that. It's just a little bit unusual. It came with a Thomas Mini. But hey, it's not a bad Thomas and Friends playmat at all. And if I flick this up, we can see the other playmat that I wasn't impressed with. So I like this. I struggle with that. And I did have a bit of a giggle. It's got a 2016 Ghislaine blah blah there. But then if you come and have a sneaky look here, it says 2017. When you look at this, it's like a god's eye view of the railway. And what I do like about this a lot, this is important when you're showing railway stuff. It's got railway things going on there. And unlike many of the Thomas and Friends playsets, you just don't see that. So that playmat, as simple as it is, I actually like that. Now there's something else we're going to take a look at, and I'm just going to take these playmats away. There was that one and there was that one. And this next item is a playmat, but it's also something a little bit extra as well. It came from the sky, yes. This is the Exploring Sodor travel case. It's a playmat, plus it's also something a bit extra. I found this at Toys R Us. Put it this way, it wasn't cheap, but I like the look of it. It was actually, if I spin it like that, $39.95. That's nearly 40 bucks. This item is a wonderful item. I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm saying it. I can see Thomas Wooden Railway toys there. It's the sort of thing that you could pack up your favourite Thomas toys and go travelling with. Go to your favourite relative's house or holidays. And I'm having a little bit of trouble getting this out as normal because I'm not good at this. Okay, phew. I have got it out. Oh wow, it's looking very Thomasy. I like the look of this already. And I'll just open it up so we can see what's going on here. Maybe it's best to look at this as a bag first. It has got a fair bit of space in there and I've got to pack it out to make it look nice. It is a 2014 item. That's a curious time. Let me pack this bag out. Maybe the perfect thing to pack it out with is an old Thomas and Friends bean bag. Yeah, and also, oh yeah, remember these? Some good old Thomas and Friends pajamas. That's going to make the bag look nice and full. I'm thinking it needs to be packed out a bit more. Wow, it can hold a fair bit of stuff this. And I've got my Thomas and Friends hooded towel here. Oh yeah. You remember going around the beach and that? The tag on that's very faded, but the actual towel looks fantastic. I can put that in there as well. This thing actually holds a fair bit of stuff. Okay, yes, that's more like it. Because it has to be just in the right spot for that Velcro tag to make it look Thomas-rific. Also a couple of zippers to seal the deal. Okay, as a Thomas looking bag, which packs a fair bit of stuff in there, it's actually really nice. There's the front of it there, looking nice and detailed. We've got a lamp there, we've got a white running board, all the Thomasy things we like to see. The face is nice as well. There's that side there. This is the way we like to see our Thomas and Friends merchandise, isn't it, hey? 2014, is that the year I said? Okay, we've seen that now. I'll just get it open again. Very hard to do this single-handedly. I'll get all the boogie out and we'll take a look at the playmat next. There's 4 areas of zippers to open up. And look at that, they've even got more Thomas detail there on the bit that you normally don't see when it's a bag. Okay, this is the playmat. Of course, it's been all set up as a bag for a long time. It needs to be flattened out a bit. I tell you what, it looks pretty good. It's a nice looking, very interesting playmat. It did show Thomas Wooden Railway on the front of the carton, but the gauge is actually a little bit strange. It's a bit smaller than what Thomas Wooden Railway and Thomas Wood is. It'd actually be better suited, and this is a little bit strange too, Thomas Minis. Look at that, it's almost the perfect gauge for those wheels there. But let's keep playing with our Thomas Wooden Railway here, and we've got Cranky at the docks. This is what I like about this, is look at all the destinations you've got. You've got the Farquhar Quarry up there, Mavis is up the back there. We've got a line going off the playmat there. Okay, we've got the farm. We've got the airport over there. We've got Jeremy with another character you rarely ever see. We've got the sheds here. Okay, and of course you can be on the turntable and turn around because children have imaginations unlike adults. We've got a bit of a work truck and water tower here, and we're sort of back to Knapford Station. So all in all, I tell you what, it's a very, very busy playmat. There's a lot of interesting things you could be playing with there, and it's Sodor Island based, and that's what we want to see. I like this. It comes back to functional merchandise. It's got multi-purpose, and I'm not really annoyed at the price that I pay. Well, look at this underneath. It's actually got Thomas's wheels. I never looked under the bag. Now I'm seeing under the bag. It's got the axles and all. It's a very interesting piece. Very interesting. And of course, these are little hideaway areas that you didn't see when it's folded up. Wow, someone's really put a bit of thought into this, and I like merchandise where someone's put two and two together to make something awesome. What I like with this here is it reminds me of a subject at school called tech drawing, when you drew all the planes of an object. In a sense, a 3D object was depicted on all of its planes, and that's what's going on there. What I will do is I'll just get this back to being a bag. It is actually very simple, but I've got to do it with two hands. There's 4 zippers to do up, and it becomes a bag again. With my camera on a little stand here, look at this. It's like Transformers. You want to make those sounds, and you get back to a Thomas again. Fantastic item. Really, really nice. Okay, it is a bag again. It would make a fantastic beach bag. It's just the right size. You can pack a lot of stuff into this thing. It looks very Thomasy. It is ticking a lot of boxes for me, and I'm a really hard marker. The bit that I didn't show when I was in bag form is dun dun dun, axles and wheels. Rarely ever seen in that sort of look. Great item, great Thomas face, one of the better Thomas and Friends bits of merchandise. And it's the Exploring Sodor travel case. It's wonderful. Before I leave this miraculous item, I did go onto eBay to see if there are any available. I found one, and my crikeys, it makes my one look cheap. In fact, if I bought the one online, I'd be up for over 100 Australian dollars once you go through exchange rates. Also, which was quite interesting, it had a different layout inside. In fact, it was far less dynamic versus the one that I showed you in this video. So as always, when you're buying anything online or in store, buyer beware. And another curious thing about my eBay search, when I went searching for this, I could only find one of these, but what was coming up in the search, and there are actually a few of them, and you might argue it's a much nicer item, it's the 2006 Thomas Wooden Railway carry case. This is a beautiful item. This one came through the charity shop, and it's got some... crikeys, look after it, boys and girls, unlike me. It's got some magnets on the end here that join it together. Inside you can put in your favourite Thomas and Friends characters. Okay, it is Thomas Wooden Railway based. And if I flip this over, I think this is such a magical thing. It does connect up like that. And if it's on a flat surface, mind you, this is all banged up here. It will sit like that, and then you can get your favourite little Thomas and run it around here. And some people might say this is one of the best pieces of Thomas and Friends merchandise about. Well, you know what? They could be totally correct. I'm not going to argue about that. But to try and find something as good as this these days at St. Thomas Wood, I'll tell you what, it doesn't exist. As I've said over and over during these videos, every time you go back in time, you basically see the magical stuff. I will put this away. I've just got to work out how it does go away. Wonderful item. Be careful buying these online. There's a whole bunch of different prices going on, and shop around before you make the deep dive and actually purchase one. And especially look at the cost of the postage going on as well. It's a stunning item, and people who are into Thomas Wooden Railway would very much desire this sort of item. It would show that you really care about Thomas Wooden Railway. And I suppose when you're looking at that, and I think about that bag before, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer that, or do you prefer that item there? Well, I'm going to say it like this. I actually like both those items very much. To get our head around the next items I'm going to show in this Thomas and Friends merchandise video, I've drawn on a table here what I'm going to call the Thomas Triangle. Now, before this triangle could form, there was something going way back in time called the Railway series. These were books, and they had a heavy influence over the early Thomas and Friends TV show. But the Railway series actually has an influence over everything Thomas. Everything that you pick up will always have a connection back to the Railway series. For the Thomas Triangle to be wonderful, we really need some fantastic films, TV shows and media. That should drive some amazing toys. And the toys should also then drive the sale of some amazing merchandise. And if the franchise triangle's really clever, it can work in the reverse direction. The films and TV shows can generate books and also sell merch. The merch can interact with the toys, and the toys should make the children very interested to go and check out the films and TV shows. So on my Thomas triangle, I can actually add in these and put arrows at each end, because this is the way we get a nice thing happening. But unfortunately, if we're Thomas fans and have been for a while, we know the reality is somewhat different. To have a nice, strong Thomas and Friends triangle, there has to be amazing attention to detail given at each point of the triangle. There's no use having one point of the triangle not looking like this point, or these here not relating to what's being seen here. I think it's always best if there's good separation between the points of the triangle and there's a controlling company in the middle. I'm not really that keen when you might have 2 points of the triangle controlled by one company. We all know Thomas and Friends kicked off with an incredible nebulous of stories. The films, TVs and media after that point have been hit and miss. So have the toys, and as I showed in the series of merchandise videos, it's sort of been all over the shop. So to make a point, I went to a shop yesterday to find some Thomas merchandise, and I'll show you what I found. There's a bluey ball there. Okay, this is the later part of 2020, and here's some Thomas and Friends balls. And when I had a look at this, I thought this looks like a bit of an older style. Okay, and then you take a look at the copyright info on this. It's down here, and looking there, it's 2012, and I'm shooting this in 2020. It's very, very tricky to find Thomas and Friends merchandise these days. I tell you what you see stacks of, guess what? It's bluey. But on a joyful note, in the same shop, look what I found. It's a wonderful Rocket Thomas. It looks completely amazing. I'm very happy to have found that. And my saying is grab these before they completely disappear. But unfortunately, as I've found, in particular the last couple of years, to find merchandise and even to find recent merch for these videos has been near impossible. Over the last couple of years, the toys have been so lackluster on the shelves. Maybe online is totally different. And when I think about this Thomas and Friends triangle, my crikeys, it needs some major repair. I know some people may argue the merch and the toys are basically the same thing. It's not 2 separate points of the triangle, but I say it is because the triangle is 3 separate skill sets. People who make films, TV and media, they tend not to be able to make toys. People who make toys tend not to make the merchandise, and the merchandise people, I've never really seen them try to make toys or films, TV and media. And it's this point of the triangle which is the next focus in the video. Why have I got a TIE fighter in my hand in this Thomas video? Well, I was trying to think of an incredible example of a very strong franchise triangle, and actually what first came to mind was Star Wars. Okay, great films, incredible toys and fantastic merchandise and stacks of it. I'm sure the Star Wars fans can elaborate far more than me. That was one that came to mind very fast. Disney Cars also comes to mind. I've got quite a few Disney Cars toys. None of them disappoint me. Okay, I've got some merchandise as well, and also the merchandise, guess what, looks just like the Disney Cars. It looks just like the films, and that's what you want to see. It's actually not rocket science to get this right. Okay, and Disney Cars is marketed to the same age group as Thomas and Friends. The smaller Disney Cars toys, they impress me as an adult, so imagine what it's doing to a child's brain. This stuff looks totally amazing, and we really saw nothing like that in the Thomas realm, and that sort of perplexed me. Another franchise that really did well, I think, in the triangle was Chuggington. They had an amazing looking show, although some may argue, but the toys looked exactly like what you saw in the show, and I think that's really important. The toys were really detailed. I never said anything bad against the toys. Later on, they changed companies to a different format of toy in a sense. It became plastic top and metal bottom. But the detailing on these toys was amazing, and I thought, wow, Chuggington is a great example of when you get the franchise triangle looking really nice. So here I've got some examples of the pointy end of the triangle, but when we buy it in store, it does sort of become merchandise. Here's part 1 of the story, and then it evolved into, well, something very, very different. Well, very much part 1 of the story, the beginning. This is back with the old classic episodes. I remember coming home from school way back in the mid-80s and enjoying watching those. These are my son's DVDs. If you see ones with price tags on them, they're ones from the charity shop. And here's a classic example. There's one with $2 mark on it. It's Thomas and the Jet Engine. We saw the Viewmaster of that as well. I only had one disc, but that is one of the all-time classic episodes. This next DVD is my son's favourite. In fact, I think it might be one of my favourites as well. If you're a Thomas and Friends fan, you have to watch Calling All Engines. It's just got a charm about it that you just don't see that today. Okay? It's got a fantastic cranky diesel 10. Sometimes Thomas and Friends went on, I'll call it an interesting branch line of the way they did their stuff. And this film here has probably got one of the best little chase sequences you're ever going to see. It's also got Lady in it as well, okay? Of course, there's endless best-ofs. There were so many of these coming through the charity shop. I think a lot of them ended up in the bin. As sad as that sounds, there's just so much of this sort of stuff. Another one there, there's $2 on it. Okay, great value. Of course it was at $2, but I'll tell you what, in store it wouldn't have been $2. And this series here, this is a very interesting one because this was the last time they used models, but we had in it CGI, I'll call it cookie cut faces, plus also the Fat Controller and a few other bits and bobs are moving around and added in. And from here on, the Thomas and Friends films and TV looked radically different. This would have been a very expensive series to make because you had the cost of the CGI plus all that model work, and I think that might have scared them. Okay, we'll move on to the next era of stuff. A dramatic change happened. Thomas and Friends went CGI, and it just causes so much debate about Thomas from this point on versus the Thomas before this era. Look, there were some stories and things that I enjoyed. The fact that the Diesels actually had a couple of interesting toys connected to it. Look, maybe it's best if you have your say on what you thought about this era. It's one of these things, if you grew up with this and not seen the other Thomas and Friends, you're probably thinking this is the best thing since sliced bread. Okay, so again, I see this and I think about toys that I've looked at on my channel over the years. There's some which don't stick in my mind in a sense. I'm sure I've watched this, but it doesn't stick in my mind. You had sort of that, yeah, I'm seeing a few characters there that, yeah. Then you had something like this, The Adventure Begins, and this was interesting because it was a bit like, well, let's go back in time. Let's tell a story back in time. Let's try and reinvigorate some of the old goodness. But of course, there were a couple of mistakes made along the way in relation to how Henry looked. But from this, I'll just put this aside. There was actually an interesting thing because some interesting toys spawned from that. The Great Race, okay, again, we started, well, this is the beginning of what I call the Sodor Island Drift, as I call it. We thought, well, let's get the idea of introducing the rest of the world into the story. It's like the beginning of breaking up the Steam team. Yeah, and maybe we'll put this aside, because again, this introduced some very interesting toys. So, if you've got the media generating interesting toys, that's what it's about. And of course, I think this is one of the last that I bought, and I actually think I totally lost interest after this. Yeah, The Journey Beyond Sodor. Yeah, maybe you can have your few words to say about that one there. The Adventure Begins, interesting time frame, celebrating the 70th year of Thomas and Friends. Now, this toy here isn't in the film, but it's from the era, and this is one of the most, well, it's becoming one of the most important little Thomas toys to get. If you look at the price of this thing online now, it's getting out of control, and I'm just going to say, mega buyer beware, okay? Mega buyer beware. Even in its little loose form like this, there are people paying way, way too much money, I believe. People who are saying this is a rare toy, blah, blah, blah. I don't like that being said. In my mind, this isn't that rare. The Adventure Begins did have a little Thomas that looked just like this. It's an original Thomas. Luckily, by this point, the silly magnet system had gone, and a nice little clip connecting system was developed. And this was also nice because it connected up into other Hot Wheels and Mattel type things. But this toy here, look, I quite like this. I'm not sure how popular it was, although I do believe it's popular because, put it this way, it wasn't really sitting around on the pegs for that long. The Adventure Begins also heralded the introduction of the original James as a toy. Now, this is the Thomas Wooden Railway one. It's very, very nice. It was curious because they had different writings underneath here. This one says Introducing James. I think, well, I've actually forgotten what my other ones say. I don't understand why there was two writings underneath, but it's a very, very nice toy. That's Thomas Wooden Railway. I never saw it as Thomas Wood. Mind you, that's not saying it wasn't around, but what is very interesting is that I've actually seen this toy still available in this format here. Now, I don't know whether they call this, well, what is it, Thomas Push-Along? Although I'm not seeing Push-Along written on the packaging there. At least we're seeing James there as original James format, okay? It looks like that on the back, which isn't going to tell you very much at all. But this was just purchased, and for the fact that that toy is still available, the original James, is actually very nice. And remember, we're talking about the media, that pointy end of the triangle that drives the toys. And we can see that's still being driven today. The next DVD, which I thought was interesting in the sense of what it was driving toy-wise, is The Great Race. We had some really interesting things going on in this film, some lovely things to look at, and luckily some of those lovely things that we were looking at translated to toys. And I think one of the most talked about is this Thomas here is actually a little dream sequence in the film. It was really a short segment, and it's derived one of the most popular Thomas toys that's been around for quite some time. It's the Streamline Thomas. And with this take and play variant here, even though it's got those ugly magnets, what was a little bit sad, I never saw a blue Annie and Clarabelle to go along with that toy. I'm not sure whether you guys ever found the companions, the blue companions in that variation, but I only found this toy. It's an extremely popular toy. If you go online and look at what it pulls these days, even in its raw format, unpackaged and in good nick, it pulls good money. It's actually a little bit scary how much some of this stuff's going for online. There was lots of good stuff from The Great Race, and I'm going to bring up my Trackmaster. That is the Mattel-made Trackmaster Streamliner Thomas. This actually came from a really nice playset as well. So I like it when things are all sort of meshed together and it all looks fantastic and it all makes you all happy, okay? So when that triangle is formed nicely, we get bits in the movies that translate to nice toys, but I really didn't see too much streamlining sort of merchandise. To me, that's where it sort of started to fall apart a little bit. And when I'm thinking about Thomas & Friends media and DVDs, in Australia, you're picking these up for, let's say, $20 is a good price just for a disc. If you're lucky, you might get it for a bit less. Okay, but what sort of spooked me was when I started seeing this. I saw these boxes come out, and it has 4 features in there. Okay, and I was picking this up. I got the price underneath there for $20. So it worries me when I see things being cheapened up like that, and I'm sort of starting to wonder what message is that sending me. I had this bizarre thought, and I thought, let's just say Mattel didn't sell all these to the toy stores. They had a secret warehouse where they kept some of the best stuff for themselves. They could make a considerable amount of money selling this online. And I say that because a toy like this that was pegged and sold in Australia was about $5, but I'm seeing this now sell, mint in box, anywhere between $30 to $50. The special edition Thomas here, crikey, the price of this thing has just been skyrocketing, okay? Mint in box, look, it's going to be up anywhere between $100 to $200. Who knows, in a couple of years' time, it could be way, way more than that. Yes, with the Thomas franchise, I tell you what, when they get it right in a really, really big way. I hope all of that made sense. Maybe we'll just move on because it can become quite a complicated little subject. Sometimes you come across some of the most charming pieces of merchandise, and this is a classic example. It's been well loved, okay? I like seeing that. It's a bit torn. It's from a bit of a bygone era as well. It's a Magic Window book. I've never seen one of these before. I've only got one of these that's come through the charity shop. It is a licensed item, and down here it's a very small, it says 1994. It does say published in Australia, but it's made in China. That's very much what was going on. That was the beginning of stuff sort of getting done in China en masse. And it's when I had a closer look at this book and the way it's done and the pictures, the way the pictures are done in these windows, it is just beautiful. It is a little bit damaged, okay, so some of these are broken. And as you turn this, and we're not going to read the story, but we're going to look very carefully at the pictures. The illustrations are done in a beautiful way. And for the fact that each time you turn a page, the 3D-ness of the book just continues on. You start to see different environments and things. It is just visually charming. Okay, it is one of the nicest little things that I've seen on the table here. And, you know, I sort of say to myself, wow, well, where is this sort of stuff today? You know, how many times in the merchandise videos I say every time we go back in time, we see the charming stuff, the stuff that really excites, and the stuff that looks as good today as it did back in the day when it was for sale. In a sense, it's just spectacular to look at. Wow, you know, maybe you know about these styles of books. Look at that there, the Fat Controller asleep on the chair there. It's very well drawn. Okay, it's just very nice to look at. And there's the back. I just like this so much, I tell you. Yeah, there we go. Thomas the Tank in Peep Peep Are You Asleep? Completely stunning. On the back of the book, I should show this, based on the Railway series by the Reverend W. Aldry, illustrated by Kathy Bailon. Absolutely stunning work, Kathy. I'll do a couple of quickies here. I like Thomas Weird. This is very strange Thomas Weird. It's a Thomas cold pack. It's very much a classic looking Thomas in this. This is a licensed product. It's from 2008, which is actually some time ago now. I bought it for basically $10 from the ABC shop. And I had that habit of just picking up something that was a little bit strange and weird, and I think this really falls into the category. Now, I can't find anything like this these days. Now, I'm shooting this video in 2020. Things have really changed. Now, 10 years after this one here, along came something like this. It's a 2-pack gel ice. Okay, like if you have a little bump or scratch, this is what you put on there to relieve your little bit of pain. 2018. And you can see it's a very, very different sort of look on that. I think most people say, oh, I prefer to be healed by that Thomas there versus, well, that pack there. But nevertheless, two very strange items in a franchise, in a sense, when you're, you know, pushing your franchise. And I couldn't find these anywhere today. And on the thought of things that have sort of disappeared in the Thomas realm, all these are 2010. And I used to pick these up. Well, there used to be outside $2 shops a lot in masses and boxes of them. Okay, it's all 2010. I'm hoping this is legit stuff. Okay, it was also, I think, the Nappy Wipes. The Nappy Wipes and this sort of stuff were always going hand in hand. That's body wash. Thomas Bubble Bath. I don't think I could find anything like that these days. Again, I'm shooting this in 2020 because in the future someone might watch this video. Oh, what do you mean? We just found it. It's licensed there. Okay, Bubble Bath. Yeah, I look. There's lots of this stuff that I picked up. I think some of it we used in the house. And it's like, you know, there's lots of franchises that do this stuff. You can see how much I paid for that one. That's the typical sort of sticker you get when you buy stuff at a $2 shop. Often run by Chinese people. Okay, so yeah, it was a peculiar thing. And these days, I tell you what, there's no way I'm going to find products like that. And to me, that's very much a Thomas and Friends mystery. I don't know why this stuff's just disappeared. This next item's a very nice bit of Thomas gear. It comes in 2 pieces. It came to me via a new charity shop that was collecting stuff for me, but it was nowhere near as dynamic as my old local charity shop. The best way to see this is I'll go and pin it up outside so we can fully appreciate what's going on here. Well, part 1, this is a pillow slip. It's a bit tricky to show because it's a bit breezy. We've got Gordon up there. Tracking along to James. A very old style looking this, isn't it? There's Thomas there, and strangely we've got Annie, but there's no Clarabelle. But I tell you what, it is really a trip back in time in the way Thomas looks, that is if the wind doesn't blow it off the line there. With some Tonka graders and a couple of bricks helping me here because of the wind. This is what I'm calling a Doona cover. This is very classic and it's nice and rustic, and on the Doona cover we can see a few more things. We can see Percy as an individual engine. We can also see Thomas there, and there's some interesting dates just below Thomas. I'll have to grab a freeze frame of this, but I can see Britt Allcroft Thomas Limited. Looks like 1984 to 1986. Crikeys, that's a long time back. It's an incredibly beautiful piece of Thomas and Friends merchandise. It's just stunning to look at. Now I can see the repeating patterns. Okay, we've got Percy, Signal, Thomas. Percy, Signal, Thomas. This one here is James, Signal, Gordon, and it repeats James, Signal, Gordon. And then we've got the Thomas and Annie without Clarabelle, and there's a tunnel there. And the same happens again, and they're the patterns. But the real magic gets revealed once I turn this over and we see the flip side of this Doona cover. Well, I'm standing back here so you can fully appreciate the other side of this Doona cover. It is completely spectacular. Crikey, imagine walking into your room and this is how your bed looked. It's an incredibly beautiful rendition of Thomas the Tank there. It's got so much character and flair. And puffing up there, he's got his Thomas the Tank engine cloud, but it's done as a puff of steam. It just looks stunning. You absolutely do not see Thomas looking like that these days. And I'm just going to roam through what's on this. We've got like Teletubby Sunrise there. There's a little farm cottage there. The rolling hills. Okay, we've got some beautiful clouds in the sky. It's just one of these things, the more you look at this, the more that gets revealed. You can see Annie there just peeking past Thomas's coal bunker there. Completely beautiful rendition of Thomas the Tank. And he looks like he's steaming along. He looks like he's got movement. He's got all the details that you want to see on Thomas the Tank. Attention Mattel, okay? You can see steam coming from around his wheels. The tracks look fine as well. And down in this corner here where my shadow's interfering, we've got a nice patch of flowers. This is potentially one of the most beautiful pieces of merchandise that I've seen. I'm struggling to fault this, and I'm pretty sure you're going to struggle to put any faults across this as well. I just bring the camera down from the top nice and slowly. Now what is really nice about this piece is the colours. The colours are popping on this. It is in really good condition. It's a very nice piece to look at, and I bet you if you had one of these, you had it with Thomas on top of your bed. That's the side I would have picked, and I'm sure you would have picked the same. Okay, Thomas and Friends books. This is some of the most common stuff that came through the charity shop, often in bundles like this, tied up, and they'd be there for sale, and of course no one would ever want to come along and buy them. I've got to be really careful showing this, and I'm not really going to get too deeply involved here because, oops, you can get into some very serious copyright strife with looking at things like this. These books are going to bring back lots of memories to people. All these are showing Thomas love, which is good. I'm glad about that. If they're coming to me pristine, that means there's trouble. And when you look at these books, they are just completely beautiful to look at. Okay, totally beautiful to look at. Nice big print, and it's just, you know, a trip back in time, and it's something you do not see today. Now, my biggest concern is the pictures here can trigger the YouTube systems, and it thinks it's seeing, well, something else, and it says, oh, okay, I've just ripped off that Thomas and Friends episode, now I'm going to rip you off. I mean, look at these pictures here. This is the sort of thing you just don't see today, and maybe Mattel would do well to go back and see what was going on in times like this. Very much the golden era of the way Thomas and Friends looked, derived from the earlier version of the TV series. You know, the media drives the books, and the books here are associated directly back to the media. I'm just going to go through and show you the titles here. You probably got some favourites. These are all well loved. You can just feel, as soon as you pick them up, you can feel they've been played with a lot. I might have a look inside this one. Yeah, there's all sorts of stains, and that's great. You know, if I saw stuff in pristine condition, I'd actually be quite upset. And this is absolute glory days of the Thomas and Friends books. I mean, I know people can say, oh, but the Railway series is where it's at. No, I'm sorry. I think things like this is definitely where it's at. Okay? So, amazing. There was so many of these books came through the charity shop. It's not funny. A lot of it was in pretty bad repair. You know, been ripped to shreds, textures all over them, blah, blah, blah. But this is a little bundle, and a classic example of how the bundles used to come to the shop. Okay, this is feeling like a bit of a later book, but look at the creasing in the page here. Okay, and look at this, it's been repaired. I mean, that brings tears to my eyes seeing that. Someone has loved this book so much, they've literally ripped it to shreds. That is a really, really wonderful thing to see. Man, if only this book could talk and just tell me how many times the little person had looked through this book. It'd be an amazing story. It's actually giving me goosebumps looking through here, because I can see how much that book was loved, you know, and I'll see it through all these books. Okay, so very much a time when Thomas and Friends was very, very different. Maybe I will in the future have a careful look at these books, and I would do it in a technical way like I'm about to do here. I was looking at the photographs and working out whether they were derived from the film camera or a still shoot. I'm looking for either the pictures dry or wet, and I say wet when it's got steam and stuff. This one's called Thomas and the Breakdown Train, okay, and I looked very carefully at the pictures. That's a nice crisp picture of Thomas there. He's got steam coming out from underneath. To me that looks like I don't know, it looks like someone's come along with a stills camera and taken a nice picture, but I might be totally wrong. Here's another one. I'm calling that fairly dry. There's no steam coming out of Thomas there. Some pictures, they look like they've been blown up too much, or they've been zoomed in to get them, and it might have been derived from the TV show that they shot. And this picture here of James in shock, I mean, it's all grainy. I think it's been zoomed in on. And then I had to laugh at this picture here. There's James there, and he's screeching his brakes, and there's just a sparkler laying underneath against the wheels there. Very low tech, but very effective. I love it. Yeah, so it's just very tricky knowing what you can get away with, and maybe if I look at this technically and point out things about the photography, then maybe you can get away with it. But I tell you what, there's a very good chance you can't get away with it. And we might just finish completely on that grumpy looking face there of Thomas. It looks fantastic. So that die wasn't working. Was that the problem? Calling Mr. Hammer, please come with me.
Here we go again on a Thomas Merch adventure. Here we go again on a Thomas Merch adventure again.